6 o'clock. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Rick Barnes continues strong work in the transfer portal as the Vols sign Wake Forest transfer guard Juke Harris on Monday, and he's the 7th addition to the Vols this offseason out of the transfer portal. Harris, the number one player in that portal, according to On3 Sports, and he averaged 21 points per game last season. In the NBA playoffs last night, the Knicks dominated the 76ers 137-98, led by point guard Jalen Brunson's 35 points as the Knicks take a 1-0 series lead. Anthony Edwards scored 18 points in his return from injury for the Timberwolves as they go on to beat the Spurs 104-102. They lead their series 1-0. In the NHL playoffs, the Hurricanes take a 2-0 series lead after beating the Flyers 3-2 in overtime, and the Golden Knights take a 1-0 lead over the Anaheim Ducks as they win 3-1. Tonight, Nashville Soccer Club returns to the pitch to face Tigres in the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinals. Nashville's down 1-0 on aggregate and must win tonight, scoring at least 2 goals in order to advance to the final. Kickoff is 8:30 Central on FS1. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramon Will is off and running on 104.5 The Zone. Kicking off your Tuesday morning right here on Zone TV, the 104.5 The Zone app, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. The phone number, 615-737-1045. What is the Titans' plan to get the most out of Carnell Tate as a rookie? You heard from Brian Daboll this morning as he spoke about that over the weekend during rookie minicamp. VolQuest's Austin Price joins us as Juke Harris not only commits but makes it official with Tennessee, pulling his name out of the NBA draft, giving the Vols the number one player in On3's transfer portal rankings. And tonight might be the biggest night in Nashville SC's history. We'll be joined by Apple TV's Kevin Egan coming up at 9 a.m. this morning to talk about just that. At Ramon Will on Twitter, he's Ramon Foster. Justin Hawkins, our producer. I'm Will Bowling. On this Tuesday, May the 5th, a beautiful morning in Music City. How we doing?
Man, happy Tuesday. Literally Taco Tuesday, and also for sure happy Cinco de Mayo as well. I know it's in the
forgot about that, honestly.
Oh, no, we already had some planned at the house. Just real light and some real easy at the crib. My wife makes amazing birria tacos. So,
that's right. You told me about that yesterday.
Yeah, we are. So me and the boys going to hit a workout when I get home because I think it's Election Day in Hendersonville, Sumner County.
Oh.
So kids are out of school.
Okay.
Got tasks for them to do early this morning. They thought they was getting a day off. Absolutely not. Well, my oldest got to go to school on his own because he's got an exam he's got to knock out end of the year. So he escapes it, okay? But the youngest and my nephew going over to my sister-in-law's house and dropping mulch down in the flower bed. So
okay.
Getting to it today, Will, and going to have to take him to a gym and get a workout in.
There was an old runner, one of my idols in the sport named Mo Farah, who used to say, on holidays, I work out twice. He's like, everybody else is taking a day off on holidays. Yeah. I'm going to go for a 2-day.
Yeah, get it in, Will. It might be a mid-morning walk. It could be some stuff around the house, getting up on the roof.
He used to say, on Christmas, I'm going to run twice because my rivals are only going to run once.
Ooh, what a legend.
Yeah.
What a legend.
Multiple-time medalist in the Olympics.
You know what? It kind of makes sense right there. That is a workout ahead of somebody. I used to say only holiday. No, not the only holiday because I worked out on the 4th of July too. Is one that always comes to mind is Labor Day. Our little motto around because it's usually the start of the NFL week that week as well.
Yep.
And we'd always have a bonus Monday on Labor Day. And Coach Tomlin would always tell us who we can see on Sunday Night Football in America this year.
Right.
But he'd always tell us, gentlemen, welcome to work, and you much rather be laboring on Labor Day.
It's true.
And I feel him on that. That was my extra bonus. I worked out on 4th of July. Even though when I played, that was the absolute worst because I'm
4th of July?
Yeah, because
it's the end of summer.
It's hot. Mm-hmm. I got to go work out. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, we're going to have a big cookout and fireworks. My legs were dead the next day.
What all kind of workouts are they doing right now at practices around the league?
They're doing lifting. They're doing bench. They're doing squats. They're doing power cleans. A lot of small movements. I'm sure band work is huge this time of the year. Most time, and I would say this, it differs from camp to camp, I'm sure, as far as organization to organization. It depends on the strength and conditioning coach. But ours is more of a setting a foundation lifts. Like
Sure.
we were more of a injury prevention type of lift team, and that's why a good bit of our guys went off campus. Like, you get what you want out of it, but I didn't see a ton of guys in our weight room during the season or off season hitting power cleans. We do heavy squats, we do heavy bench, but it was get your big foundational lifts down. Deadlifts, we ain't do power clean, bench, squats, and you do dumbbell press and stuff like that. And then it's a bunch of like small muscle work as well, like hip flexors, adductors, core, just to keep you tight and ready. I got most of my workouts was when we broke from here, and I would go to Franklin and work out with my guy at Empower.
Okay.
And sometimes I don't know if there's any NFL team, to be quite honest with you, that's doing like all the Olympic lifts. If that makes like overhead snatches. Because most guys are training somewhere else, and head trainers usually don't want to get guys injured.
I feel like those are the most common things you see on videos from college teams trying to show off.
Yes. The heavy squats.
That's like the main purpose, is just to show off how fun your workouts are.
It's not
for
like
recruits.
That.
Yeah.
You know how I ended up hurting my back is we had a session like that in my rookie year.
There
We
you go.
were in the weight room doing squats. And here I am. We're under the bar. Everybody's slapping backs and chests and stuff like that. I get under the bar and hit a regular squat. It couldn't have been no more than like 4 plates, like 405. Couldn't have been no more than that.
Just, something casual.
That's light work. That's a Tuesday.
That's easy.
It was. No,
Super easy.
Literally, it was a Tuesday. Hey, I go in there, I go down, I felt something, and I went back down again, and I felt this sharp pain down my left leg, and I pretty much had gotten a bulging disc at that point. And our strength and conditioning coach was livid at us.
That makes my back hurt right now.
Listen to me. I went home thinking everything was going to be fine. Come back the next day, and I couldn't walk down my steps in my loft. And so I had to go to the doctor that day. This is when I ended up getting the epidural. So here I was, an undrafted rookie, hurting myself in the weight room.
There's a lot of guys that don't survive that
No.
as undrafted rookies.
No. But
It's credit to you.
They're also not all Ramon Foster.
That's true.
Listen,
That's very true.
I got back healthy, and I think I didn't play that weekend. I was inactive.
This was during the season.
This was during the season.
Wow.
I did a light practice on a Friday, a walkthrough Saturday. I was pretty much inactive but up that weekend. The next week, I was the extra tight end against Cincinnati. So, I was determined to get back on the field with
That's
that.
the worst part. You had to go to Cincinnati still.
That's what I'm saying. But, yes, I joke. I shouldn't joke, but, I mess with people all the time. I've literally had an epidural before.
Ugh.
Yeah. I saw that needle. Man, that needle was 4 or 5 inches long that went in my back.
I'm glad you reminded me it was Cinco de Mayo. I'll have to change what I was going to make tonight. But to be fair, I truly make so much Mexican. This feels like cultural appropriation. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how I feel about that one.
We're close.
That's got to be borderline.
The song title is Mexican
I feel like
music.
I cook so much Mexican food just in general that I feel like I'm just always celebrating Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, same.
We're having taquitos tonight.
You are? Or are you making them at home, frying them as well?
Sure.
Are you?
Are they frozen or are you making them?
Handmade.
Oh,
Handmade.
I'm going to need that recipe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, straight up, I'm going to eat that recipe.
I'll let you know when I pull it up.
I saw
Haven't got it yet.
video the other day that growing up and getting older is just deciding what ethnicity of ground beef or chicken you're going to eat every single night.
Oh, 100%.
That's really all life
1000%.
is just what ethnicity is my chicken tonight.
Yeah, for
and
real.
tonight it'll be taco seasoning. So that's great.
You want to hear a game changer, though, for you guys' taco seasoning?
Go.
Make it at home.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I was
just what is it like? A smoked paprika,
cumin,
salt, pepper, cumin, chili powder, and
salt,
a little bit of garlic powder, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's way better that way.
Way better and less salt and sodium in it. Well, sodium.
Yeah,
in
I don't
as
put
well.
much salt in it to begin with.
Listen, like the amount of sodium that comes in that El Paso, is atrocious to me. Shout out if they want to sponsor.
Because the big three is like the chili powder, smoked paprika, and cumin.
Yes,
that's really all you need.
That's it right there. You throw a little bit of oregano. You trying to spice up a little bit.
That's
you
right.
gotta have the garlic and onion powder.
If you told me 5 years
look at
ago
us.
that you and me would be breaking down how to make a homemade taco seasoning live on air, I would have laughed at you.
Yeah.
I would not have. I would not have been able to compute
It's
that.
way better. Also, I'm trying to make this tonight, but I'm gonna end up grilling some corn or charring some corn on the stove and make a corn salsa with it as well with some cotija
You ever have
cheese.
elote?
That's what I'm basically gonna make.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with a little yeah.
I don't know. Is that
I'm hungry now.
Should I put this off for Cinco de Mayo because tonight Nashville SC is playing in Monterey, or like I don't know. When you're playing a team, do you want to eat that area's food, or do you want to save it and just go America and go the other direction?
Might as well take it over tonight and enjoy the spirit of it.
It's like when you play Florida, like you don't eat the Gator nuggets until after you beat Florida.
Well, no, I ate them beforehand.
Well, obviously the UT cafeteria, we always had them beforehand. I heard Buck was talking about that yesterday on his show about like what's the wildest thing you've eaten, and he mentioned Gator. It's like we had that at the school cafeteria all the time. That's not wild at all.
Not wild.
We had it every year.
Like, let's start talking about some possum.
You
or
had it
something.
at Gibbs. I had it at Smokies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Has he ever eaten rabbit? Like, do we need to go there?
Well, he said he had camel, so but has a speed. Yeah, I know.
Never mind. Never had camel, my brother.
That's where I'm a little too Brentwood to really contribute much in that one, to be fair.
You know, in Rush Hour, when Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker were saying camel's hump?
I've not seen it, but I'll take your word for it. I've not seen any movies. I don't watch movies.
We got to get you watching Rush Hour. But he was like, what is that?
I like movies. I just don't watch them.
They ate camel's hump, and I thought it was a joke, but you really can't eat the camel's hump.
Yeah, apparently. They're talking about that on Buck's show yesterday.
Oh, straight up?
Yeah.
Oh, man, we got to start. I got to start listening more to him. By the way, his event was solid this weekend as well. It was cool. That was a moment, man. I missed it because the wife and I left early. We kind of combined that as a date night. But there's an image out there, my brother. I think they were doing the Coach Mack tribute. I've never seen somebody break down as much as I think Brent did on the stage right there. The only thing I have is, of all people, you cry on Buck's shoulder. The hand grip around
plenty more supportive people to confide in that moment.
Guy was probably mad you was leaning on him, man. Like, goodness gracious, leaning on Buck for sympathy and love?
615-737-1045, our number. Brian Daboll talking about laying a foundation for everything they do for Carnell Tate. We'll hear a lot from the Titans offensive coordinator today. He led off his comments over the weekend with this.
Say with all the rookies, we're going to have to lay a foundation for them, just the language of it all. So as much as he can handle, as much as they can handle, we'll throw at him. We have to bring them along. You know, the vets are a little further ahead of them, but it is a unique situation for the rookies on our particular team because it's a new coaching staff. So it's new systems. So sometimes you get rookies and they're coming into year 3 or year 4 of the system where the vets are so further ahead of those guys. These guys are only a few weeks back in terms of the meeting time we've been allowed to have with our players. So we'll give him as much as he can handle. He is smart. We try to have all our skill guys, Paul, learn all the spots. So there's 5 eligible receivers on every pass play. The guys that are out there running routes, not just learn one spot to understand the entire system, the scheme that you're running. It's helpful if those guys can learn multiple things.
Brian Daboll speaking with the media over the weekend. We'll talk a lot about how they plan to use Carnell Tate this morning, Ramon. But I think the main headline that comes out of Daboll's comments and that specific answer is he's going to do a little bit of everything. And off the top of everything here, there is value in every receiver is learning the system, not named Wan'Dale Robinson. And even Wan'Dale may have to make some tweaks because of the changes Brian Daboll will make for this offense for Cam Ward.
No doubt about it. As far as Carnell goes, man, I was listening to the press on the way in, actually, and Daboll kept reiterating when being asked about Carnell, he's a smart guy. He's very smart on the board. And I love that for Carnell, because if that's the case, like learning the playbook, understanding what you got to do, hopefully for him with the way he's going to be coached up, is expedited. It's super fast. It allows him to get caught up to the game a whole lot quicker, because if the other side to it, I know he talked about it in his presser, but his ability to get open and know how to be shifty with his body is something that's going to be an advantage for him. And the other side for me as well, they will kind of lean into a little bit too, is like he understands how to compete. So if he's got the smarts down on learning this offense and knows how to compete, man, that's a good place to be as a rookie, because that's all you really asked to do in the rookie year is, can you understand it and not mess this up, and will you compete? If he checks those two boxes right there, Daboll's saying it in his interview, like the sky's the limit for him this year.
Live for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio, Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. Brian Daboll talking about how Calvin Ridley looks so far this offseason, plus other Tuesday morning headlines coming up after this. Hour one of Ramon Will getting started on 104.5 The Zone and Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Would love for you to subscribe to the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel if you haven't already. 615-737-1045. Fernando is in Hermitage and claims that he has got a Monterey food suggestion for us today, Ramon.
I can't wait to hear it, man. What's up, Fernando?
Let's go to the phone. What's up, Fernando? How are you?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
Hey, so I have the main dish of Monterey. Me being from Monterey, this is the main dish. It's called cabrito. And it's going to sound weird, but you guys were talking about camel's tongue, so it's all right. So it's basically a slow roasted baby goat.
Oh.
That's what Monterey is known for.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd take a bite of that, most definitely. If you
What does it taste like?
It's
Is it like
really
chicken?
Good. No, it's like beef. It's a baby goat.
Duh. That's on me.
How do you prepare it, Fernando?
I got a question. Are they playing Tigres or Monterey?
Playing Tigres.
My family's heavily divided, Tigres and Monterey, and I'm like, I don't give a crap about none of them. I like American football.
I love it. Good for you, Fernando.
Here we go, Fernando. You're going to have to invite us to a cookout at some point in time, man.
I've been a Titans fan since 1999.
Wow.
Nice.
Let's go, Fernando.
Love that.
And hopefully
guys.
your kids are
Appreciate
as well
the call.
now. Thanks, Fernando.
Thank you, Fernando. Appreciate the call.
I'm going to be real with you. I kind of want some of this baby goat.
Cabrito.
Cabrito.
I thought he was going to troll us and be like, it's a knuckle sandwich. You're going down. I don't know.
I knew you calling in on Cinco de Mayo today with Monterey food suggestions.
Yeah,
it was
well,
going to
I
have to
don't
be
know.
real.
I don't know.
I don't know if I've had goat yet.
Goat. Yeah, no, I haven't either.
I know I've been to spots where they have like curry goat and stuff like that. I've yet to actually put it on the plate and eat it. People say it's good.
Comment on YouTube says, where on earth do you buy dead baby goat? That's a great question.
The international markets, I'm more than sure you can get them.
Where
over
on
there.
Earth? Well, apparently Monterey.
I didn't ask on
I
earth.
swear. Can you mind if I go choke him out real quick?
What are you talking about? We're in Nashville.
No, I'm pretty sure over in Antioch at the World Market, I'm pretty sure you can get one out of there.
I've heard good things about that place, too.
I've been in there.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of fresh food in there as well. It's a good place to go. I was looking for some seafood stock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seafood stock.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was, we do an event at my brother-in-law's house. His father doesn't eat meat. Well, he eats seafood, so I was going to make a full seafood gumbo instead of a chicken and sausage one. So I needed some seafood stock. Somebody would probably tell me, you should make your own with the shells from your shrimp. Shut up. I got this.
Bruce in South Sumner up next, talking Titans this morning. What's up, Bruce?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
We're
Good.
great.
Good morning, Bruce.
Good. Gentlemen, I called back in January prior to the coaching hires, prior to the combine, prior to the draft. And as a founding PSL holder and a PSL holder in the new stadium as well, I tried not to be dogmatic or unrealistic about expectations. I just wanted them to get it right through the process. And now that we're through that process, through the draft and starting practice, I'm optimistic about the coaching staff. I think that they have compiled a staff that is going to probably change things quite a bit from what we have seen, hopefully, the last 18 to 24 months. And I feel cautiously optimistic about our first-round pick, but I'm very optimistic about our second through seventh-round picks. And hopefully, with the decision that was made to hold our rookies out for some strength and conditioning reasons, that will help eliminate some potential early injuries that could affect the performance. So now that all that has come and gone, I really feel like that we may be on the right track for a change. because, as I said in January, when we come under that Fern Street overpass coming down 65 North, and Ramon, you know that drive very well.
I do.
And see the new stadium, we want to have a lot of faith that we're going to have a winning, that particular Sunday, we're going to have a winning Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my feeling now. That's where I'm at on it. I'm not fishing this morning, man. I'm usually, at least 3 days a week I'm fishing. But I'm not fishing today. I'm just sitting here watching y'all on YouTube television. And before I go, I've got to say two things. Number one, Will, I've seen Peyton already this morning on News 2. You're way up. You're way above your grade.
Oh, that's
like
true.
Most of us are.
Tell them,
That's absolutely true.
Tell them, Bruce.
And Ramon, kudos to you for making those young guys get out there and do some work today with their family and get that mulch down.
Get that mulch down.
We're proud to have you. We're proud to have you in Sumner County, Ramon. You're the mayor of the county.
Oh,
man,
wow.
Mayor Clary gonna have something to say about that, man. I might have to go see Mayor Clary today. Voting day too today, Bruce. Man, I know you getting out to vote. Yes, absolutely.
It is today. Today is voting day. It certainly is, and we all have our opinion there, but exercise the right.
Absolutely. That's
y'all
all we
have
asking.
a great day, and it's always good to talk to you. And go Big Orange.
Go Big Orange.
Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate the call.
Feels right there, man. That was a
Vote for Ramon.
cold. Listen, write it in. I didn't say it. Bruce did. He didn't say it, but I did.
You just agreed. You just said it too.
I just said I didn't say it and double back and said I did say it.
Uh-huh.
Bruce, great call right there, man.
Good vibes.
Goodbye.
Feeling good.
On a hot Tuesday, man.
I like it.
Good morning if you just tuning in.
Brian Daboll over the weekend speaking about Calvin Ridley. Interesting stuff here on his former Alabama receiver, now Titans receiver look so far.
He's good. He's, Red is Red. I got a long-standing relationship with Red back to 2017. He means a lot to me as a player. He's a good player for us when I was at Alabama, but as a person, we developed a pretty good relationship, and it's good to have him here. We've changed some stuff as we've went over the last 10 years, but smart, good player, good teammate. Got a lot of appreciation and love for Red.
Okay. Have we made enough about Daboll having a previous relationship with Calvin Ridley, having worked with him at Alabama? This is not a somebody calls you mayor, and all of a sudden now you want to act brand new. All right,
Previous relationship.
yeah, a previous relationship with Calvin Ridley. They worked together at Alabama. What are we talking about?
I know.
We're not putting them on a boat with the Boston Celtics and Diana Rossini
No,
and Mike
we're not.
Vrabel the way
Absolutely
inside the
not.
NBA did over
We
the
wouldn't
weekend.
dare do those types of things, man. But for Calvin to get to the serious part of his statement and your question, it's good to have somebody in your corner if you're Calvin Ridley. It just is. Because it'll be easier for a new staff to somewhat look over the old ways, or the old staff, to look over his old ways because they're trying to search for newness. Calvin has somewhat sacrificed something. And as far as what his last year was, it's probably just right for him to do that. He gave back this year as far as what we believe took a pay cut to stay with the team, where they reworked his contract some type of way. And having Daboll be a part of this new coaching staff, one, he knows what Calvin's capable of. He understands probably the last couple of years that Calvin has had, or the lack of winning. The version that he remembers of Calvin really is the college version, where the athleticism and youthfulness and the competitor came out at Alabama too. He calls him by his nickname, Red. So you understand they have some type of relationship. What Calvin also has to do is his part as well. I'm sure there's going to be in some type of meeting where Coach Daboll is going to be asking a lot of Calvin, because he knows what he's capable of, and he's one who helped coach him up as well. But this is also still very much a young man's game. Like, the ability to incorporate Carnell, I think, and Wandale, who's just got recently paid, could push him back. But that's why, to your opinion about having that previous relationship with him, Daboll will have somebody that he's worked with directly and has a second opportunity 2 times over with him and Wandale to say, I believe in you. Calvin has to do his part on this one, because you can't make a coach look foolish. The other part behind Calvin is this. He's got Keldrick Faulk, who primarily plays wide receiver, and Chimray, if he does want to expand his role more than just a kick returner this year. That's where it can get problematic for him, and that's where Brian Daboll, of course, has to have an understanding of what he's going to be asking Calvin to do, because it's a good thing, but it's also I understand you a lot thing too, meaning that if you don't do what I ask you to do, I can move on from you because you understand that we have mutual respect for one another.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting how much Aya Manor and DK have snaps relative to Calvin Ridley. And the concerns about Ridley being more hands related than muscle and soft tissue and speed, quickness related. Like, I still have no doubt that Calvin Ridley has a lot of quickness, a lot of burst, a lot of ability to get open. The challenge was not as much separation last year as it was catching the football when it's thrown to him. How quickly does Cam Ward move on to other guys if he keeps going to Calvin and the ball isn't being caught? He's got more options now to say, in the heat of the moment, I'm going to trust Carnell Tate, who's got excellent hands, to just put it in his vicinity. He's going to go up and get it for me. Ridley did not do that enough last season.
I view this year in particular, for Calvin, the two guys who are a threat to him are Ellick and Chimray.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would ever have that type of conversation or statement come out as well, but there is a preparation of next year's talent as well.
It feels like the last dance for Calvin Ridley as a Tennessee Titan. It feels like the last year.
And that's where Daboll can save him by believing in getting him the ball, because if I was Calvin, I would want the ball back too.
And Calvin has been a good teammate.
Yes.
And being down there on the sideline, I saw it all last season. I mean, he's not checked out. He's not overly frustrated. He's not been a diva number one wide receiver when he hasn't gotten the ball. He has been down there coaching and talking with other receivers, and he would sit next to Cam and talk with the quarterbacks. And even when he was hurt, he was part of the conversation down on the sideline. So there's not any worry about him just checking out if things kind of get tough again.
Right.
But I think that's even more alleviated by the fact that he now has a coach that he knows who does believe in him, who's going to keep him locked in, for lack of a better term, in Daboll.
You really hope he has a Cam Jordan type of year. Cam Jordan went back up to double-digit sacks last year. I think he averaged, 6 and then 8 2 years beforehand. And, what I'm getting at is this, the spirit of competition for Calvin with two young guys behind him and Ellick Ayuman and Chimray DK. Those two dudes hopefully bring the best out of him, where Calvin forces the offense to kind of come through him a little bit more than I think it will this year. We mentioned the conversation, I think we had it last week, about when do you start incorporating Carnell Tate into it.
Right.
Just listening to coaches speak about him and just watching his tape a little bit more too, catching the ball and getting open won't be a problem with him. It is now looking at it and saying, Cam, who's going to be your guys? That's the next step for him. As Daboll mentioned, everybody learning the entire new offense as well is there will be a pecking order. It has to be.
The guy who's going long is going to be Cam's guy more often than not. The guy that's going deep.
I don't know if that's smart for him.
We'll see. I think it depends on the player. If it's Carnell Tate, that's what he was brought here to do.
No doubt. It was.
Is run vertical routes and get upfield against these press man coverage defenses that are just all over the Titans last season.
When you mention go long, is this 30 yards down the field, or it's 12 yards comebacks, breaking off routes? Okay.
I think it's all of it. I just think that Carnell Tate is going to run the kind of routes that Cam Ward likes to throw to.
Okay. Understood. The way I see Cam working in this offense probably is more sideline and over the middle and less deep shots this year, just because it's such a new offense.
Well, that's what the system might predicate, but I just know Cam.
Yeah, I'm with you.
There's a mix of those two things that's going to have to come together. Cam's desire to throw the ball downfield and Brian Daboll's transcontinental routes that get receivers open in space over the middle of the field.
For sure. It's just that those types of passes right there, it's either boom or bust. It's all it is. And if Cam's gets sharper, that's what I'm saying. I'd much rather him get sharper at managing the entire game and taking the shots when they're there. Not saying that every 2 plays is a down the field play, but Cam's got to become a thrower in this league, in my personal opinion. A quarterback, learning how to play the position is where I want for him, instead of exciting plays just yet. I say that I'm going to lose my mind probably, or get excited when he has a 50-yard bomb down the field. It's just I don't want that to be his calling card every single game, because there's going to be some defenses.
Why not?
Because there are going to be some defenses that play you tight. This offense is still very much at the line, right above the line as far as talent goes.
Right.
And, of course, all of this is predicated on protection for him as well.
It is, but at the same time, Carnell Tate was brought here to unlock that part of the offense.
For sure.
And I think if you could take advantage of the over-aggressiveness that some defenses play against the Titans, I'm not saying he should be chucking it deep on every play, but I do think there's an element of Carnell Tate opening up space that you're going to have to establish some of those deep passes in order to open up things more underneath over the middle of the field. Because right now, there's no reason for defenses to respect the Titans' deep passing game. It didn't exist last season.
But the thing is, though, if they run into the same issue that they had last year as far as pressure, Cam scrambling around the pocket, like the underneath game has to be a part of it too.
Sure.
I'll put it this way. You can keep defenses honest and back by simply getting the ball out as well too. And
which I think you could say about deep vertical routes as well. Like put it in a position where Carnell can go get it 25 yards down the field and it's snap, set, throw, deep.
But I trust the shorter intermittent. Let's go 5 to 12-yard passes than I do going 25 yards down the field, though. I look at it that as 2nd and 10.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I just think that Cam Ward's best moments at Miami were 10 to 20 yards downfield.
But there's also a different game that he's playing with much better competition on the side of it, too. And that's where
again, we're saying the same thing.
Yeah,
like I agree that he's got to become more of a manager and check things down more. I just don't think that defenses are going to let him. Because I think right now defenses are going to come out in the same way they did last year against the Titans and say, we're going to be all over you. We're going to play tight man coverage until you throw it over our heads. So can you get a couple big ones to open up the underneath stuff and force those safeties to take a couple steps back? That's more what I'm saying.
No doubt about it, but there's different. Again, I think we're both trying to get to the same accomplished goal here. My point of it is, though, too, and Daboll kind of mentioned this, like there's different ways to free you up when it comes to man-to-man and how teams play you close to the line of scrimmage as far as the receiver goes. My only point on this is as far as Carnell goes and his specialty being able to be a weapon down the field, he has to also show the ability that he can get free from NFL cornerbacks as well.
Oh, there's no question.
That part of it is there. And the second part is Cam's growth from last year to this year on hitting deep shots.
Yeah, it's got to be more accurate. It's got to be way more accurate. For sure.
Yeah.
Coming up, more Tuesday morning headlines for you. College coaches anonymously talking about the draft class said some good things about Keldrick Faulk. And Patrick Mahomes testing the boundaries of human strength coming back from an injury. Coming up next.
This Mother's Day, for the mother in your life, don't just mail it in. Get her something memorable, meaningful, timeless. Show her how much she's appreciated with the beautiful piece of jewelry from Genesis Diamonds. Genesis Diamonds has created the best Mother's Day collection ever. Imagine her face lighting up when she opens a dazzling diamond bracelet, a pair of sparkling diamond earrings, or a stunning colored gemstone pendant. Each one hand-selected and designed to last not just this year, but for decades of birthdays, anniversaries, and ordinary days to come. Genesis has the gifts that make a statement. Guys, you need to check this out. And this year, Genesis has added brand new creations from their exclusive designers. Truly one-of-a-kind pieces she won't see anywhere else. In fact, for the ultimate way to show how much she means to you, you can go ahead and step inside Genesis' brand new half-price vault, a special collection of exquisite jewelry, all at an incredible 50% off. Yes, half price. So this Mother's Day, give her more than a casual gift. Give her a memory she'll wear close to her heart every single day. Genesis Diamonds are located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, it's Will Boulding. Is your home's air conditioning ready to keep up with the warmer months ahead? Well, Lee Company has you covered. Lee Company's team of professional technicians will give your home's AC a tune-up as well as seasonal cleaning and maintenance to help you stay ahead of the heat and humidity. Don't let your AC fail this summer. Head on over to leecompany.com to schedule your appointment today. This is the best time to go ahead and make sure that your AC unit is working the way that it's supposed to in these days and weeks where the temperatures aren't in the 80s and 90s. We've got a nice little climate right now in Middle Tennessee, so take advantage. Make sure your AC unit is ready the next time you really ask it to totally cool down your home as the crazy high temperatures start back here in the Middle Tennessee area. And trust the business with over 80 years of experience serving Middle Tennessee and Kentucky and Alabama as well. Head online to leecompany.com to schedule your appointment today. That's Lee Company, all you need. Wrapping up hour one on your Tuesday morning, Ramon and Will. 615-737-1045, our number. Adam Rittenberg of ESPN writes a piece about college coaches anonymously saying things about draft picks and fits and all of this stuff. And a couple of SEC coaches commented on Keldrick Faulk, Titans' first-round pick defensive end. An SEC coordinator says he's powerful. He can play on the inside shade of an offensive tackle. He's a really good run stopper, and he's still learning how to pass rush. An SEC offensive coordinator said he definitely had film. There were times where he just kind of got ground up a little bit and didn't know how dedicated he was to the run game. He has a ton of ability. When he played and went, he was a good player. I was interested to see because some people were talking about him being early first round. And I just thought there's better edge players, but really, really long guys are tough to find. What do you think that means? He got ground up a little bit.
He just got pushed back a little bit more in the run game. Like, you see him. Now, the thing is, I think there's more context to this. If you do watch his tape, he goes from being an edge player on the outside to going on the inside. And at that point, he got double teamed. He's got the size to hold on to it, but the way, as long as he is, it's tough for him to anchor at where his development is right now. That's what I got. Like, he just got rolled from time to time. If you look at his tape, you do see him get rolled, but he also reiterates this, Will, by saying what, though? It was a situation in which you see a long athlete like him, and eventually the payoff is going to be there. That's what I took. You might see him get rolled in training camp or even in the preseason games or during the games, but it's not about this year. It's been our conversation with Keldrick Faulk. It's about the years to come where he adds more strength. Probably not a lot of weight, but just more strength and understand leverage, how to anchor, and how to get off blocks as well. It can make teams think, like you said there a second ago, they didn't think he was going to be a high first rounder for where his skill set is right now, but the talent is there. A lot of the draft is projection. How projectable are you for not just this year, but for the future you?
I think he steps into this defense as a good run stopper and a fine pass rusher day one, with the hope that he ultimately becomes a great run stopper and a good pass rusher over time. I mean, if he gets 3 to 5 sacks this year, don't be shocked.
Right.
A lot of his production, a lot of his impact won't be on the stat sheet with the way that he's going to set an edge and play run defense. And I think if you go in with that expectation, then that changes the way his rookie season is viewed. He's not the speed rusher that's going to get around the edge and get 12 sacks as a rookie. I mean, he could. I won't put anything past him, but that would surprise me to see him be that productive as a pass rusher as a rookie.
And this is the part, though, too, whoever this offensive coordinator was that spoke on Keldrick Faulk, it is, to me, like stopping the run is his calling card.
For sure.
Right now.
No question.
Whatever you get after that is a bonus. Like, his ability to be that big, that long, that young as well is a benefit to him if he can hold his ground in a run game. Again, the proper technique, understanding angles, leverage, not being high. He does have to get his shoulder pads down. When you see him get rolled off the ball, it is either a false step or the offensive line just beat him, or he's up high. Those are things right there that I'm sure will be harped on if they still go through shoots and work on leverage. Yeah. For a guy that tall, that's always going to be his issue.
Going to be interesting. I can already see the freak out in October when Keldrick Faulk has a sack and a half. The question is always going to be, does he help you win football games? Does he help your defense win whenever he's on the field? And if that answer is yes, then I couldn't really care much less about the overall production. Is he allowing other guys to get to the quarterback? I tend to just believe, though, as a rule, we've talked about this so much, there's so many players that are just going to have quarterbacks run into them at the edge rusher position when you have Jeffrey Simmons playing to the inside on the defensive line.
Is it fair, and I think it is personally, you let me know if you differ, that we just consider Keldrick Faulk just a part of the rotation this year?
Well, I think it's very fair. I think that's what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Everyone's a part of the rotation, though, to be fair, in a solid system.
That was your point I felt like I took from that. Is just like it's going to be a point somebody blow up. Like, is he helping you? Like, yes, he's helping you because he might not directly be making plays, but he's not giving up plays. Correct. He's allowing the veteran guys, the first wave or whatever he comes in the game, to rest up. Like, I don't think
allows a linebacker to just scrape over the top and make a tackle, because he's holding up 2 guys in the run game and won't allow a guard to get downfield and pull in front of a run play.
Yes. It's on his college tape that he's taking on guards. Right. He's taking on pullers.
Now, if you want to come back and say, well, why are we trading up for a guy that's seen as a run stopper? I think that's a valid argument. I think he is a specific type of edge, so I think it makes sense why they did it.
Yeah.
And in this draft specifically, I don't think you're missing major value, because they also didn't give up a pick. They just moved back twice,
no doubt,
in order to move up once. But I think that is a valid argument to say, all right, well, if all that's true, and I believe it is, he's a rotational, run-stopping, long, athletic, run defense, edge setter.
Yeah.
Why are you moving up for a guy with that skill set?
I look at it just in case in point. I know we got to roll real quick, though, too. But I think he's more like DeForest Buckner.
That's interesting.
As far as that go.
I've heard a lot of Eric Armstead on him.
And that's
even a little Trayvon Walker.
I'll even look at it this way as far as projection for him. The first year in his rookie year, DeForest Buckner has 6 sacks. The next year he had 3. And
he's just bigger.
He is.
He's 295, Buckner is.
No doubt. And I'm just looking at the pathway. It was year 3 when DeForest Buckner became who he was when he got 13 sacks that year. I'm just looking at the projection of guys that Robert Saleh's had in his defense before, and we mentioned it before. If he gets 6 sacks, that's a dub for a rookie at his position on this team as well. If he goes 6 and then 3 and then explodes in year 3, like to me, I'm looking at Keldrick Faulk in his projectables by year 3, the same as it was for DeForest Buckner. I'm trying to look up Eric Armstead's as well. 2 sacks, 2.5, 1.5, 3, and then he got 10 in 2019.
And he's another good example of a player whose value and production is not always going to show up on the stat sheet.
Is it just sacks?
Eric Armstead.
I know.
Patrick Mahomes is going to participate in OTAs not too long after tearing his ACL and LCL in his left knee. The Chiefs are scheduled to have their first 3 OTAs May 26th through 28th. Andy Reid said over the weekend he is in a good position to be able to do some things. If he can do some things, he'll do it. Phase 2 of the program, remember, there's no contact and there's no offense versus defense. It's phase 3 that you get into that. He's in a position where he can do everything, I think. You believe this?
No, it's silly. To be quite honest with you, this time of the year with that ACL, his presence is probably needed for a team that's somewhat transitioning. But as far as him being out there and actually practicing, he's probably taking 3 step backs because there's only so much that knee is going to allow him to do. And the other part, though, too, in my personal opinion, I think Patrick Mahomes screws up the flow of practice because the rushers can't rush the way they want to. They can't get close to his shoulder as far as him throwing anyway. And if he's immobile or not as mobile as he should be, what's the rush for? If he's doing 7-on-7 timing stuff, cool. But as far as like 11 versus 11, I almost think it's pointless for Patrick.
Yeah, it feels like one of those where able to do some stuff just means he's like playing catch.
He's just out
on
there.
A side field.
Or just
like, I believe that.
Yeah.
I don't believe that he's going to be in a full go at this point, nor should he be. Yeah. What's the rush?
I don't think he's step pushing up in the pocket, push, and pivoting off that knee right now. Absolutely not.
Florida head coach John Summerall made some headlines by threatening self-harm if Florida doesn't make a bowl game.
Oh, my gosh.
Action Sports Jacks with this tweet and a sit-down interview with the new Florida head coach John Summerall on making a bowl game in year 1.
Do you put expectations on this thing? Timetables? Do you stay away from that in your worlds?
Yeah, I've got an expectation to win every game we play. That's my expectation. Like, I'm not comfortable with anybody going, hey, how many games are you comfortable winning this year? Like, anybody that tells me, hey, bowl eligible, I'm like, yeah, we better be. Or I'll be on top of the stadium getting ready to do something stupid. Like, so to me, you have to have urgency every day. And I think as soon as you put a ceiling or a cap on what you can do and start to like think with limits in mind, you're automatically handicapping yourself. And so for me, man, our expectation is for our guys to expect to win every freaking time we take the field.
Agreed. Good answer.
John Summerall with Action Sports Jacks.
What a strong...
I'll be up on top of the stadium about to do something stupid if they don't make a bowl game. Okay. All right.
Coaches that make bold predictions like that, and I know John Summerall's respected, but didn't Brian Kelly make a bold prediction? And you have other coaches that try to do, like Mike Vrabel said,
you always oversell on the way
stuff
in.
As well.
Always oversell on the way in.
Oh, my gosh. It just makes for better memes on the back end.
615-737-1045, our number. Major Vols news yesterday. Juke Harris puts pen to paper to join Tennessee Hoops. We'll talk about it next. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bolden. Carpet is the #1 air filter inside your home. It filters out the airborne particulates, the pollen, the bacteria, you name it. The most important fact to understand about carpet, though, it filters out the bad stuff, but you have to keep your filter clean. That's where Zero Res comes in. Zero Res does this better than any other carpet cleaner by not leaving harsh chemicals or soil-attracting residue behind in the carpet. A clean filter means a healthier home, which is critical during allergy season that we are certainly in the thick of here in Middle Tennessee. Zero Res gives you a smarter, lasting clean as a carpet cleaner. No harsh chemicals, no soap residue, faster dry times. Everything's going to stay cleaner longer. So make that investment by heading online to ZeroResNashville.com. You can check out all the outstanding Google reviews on them as well. Zero, R-E-Z, Nashville.com, or call them at 615-535-9376. That's 615-535-9376. Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. And don't forget to ask about their air duct cleaning.
7:04. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports, the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Rick Barnes continues his strong work in the transfer portal as Wake Forest transfer guard Juke Harris officially committed to the Vols on Monday. He's the 7th addition to the Vols this offseason through the portal. Harris, the number 1 player in the portal according to On3 Sports ranking, and he averaged 21 points per game last season. In the NBA playoffs Monday night, the Knicks dominated the 76ers 137-98, led by point guard Jalen Brunson's 35 points as the Knicks take a 1-0 series lead. Anthony Edwards scored 18 points in his return from injury for the Timberwolves as they go on to beat the Spurs 104-102 despite Victor Wembanyama's historic night of 12 blocks and a triple-double. The T-Wolves lead that series 1-0. NHL playoffs on Monday, the Hurricanes take a 2-0 series lead over the Philadelphia Flyers after a 3-2 win in overtime, and the Golden Knights beat the Ducks in the nightcap 3-1 to lead their series 1-0. Tonight, Nashville Soccer Club returns to the pitch to face Tigres in the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinals. Nashville's down 1-0 on aggregate and must win tonight, scoring at least 2 goals to advance to the final. Kickoff is at 8:30 p.m. Central Time on FS1. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 2 of the program. Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone and Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. 615-737-1045, our number if you want to join the discussion. We'll hear more from Brian Daboll coming up in 15 minutes as he spoke with the media over the weekend and said a lot about receivers. For an organization that has struggled to find consistent play at the receiver position, A, it's a good thing you just drafted one top 5, and B, it's a good thing that you've got an offensive coordinator, Ramon, who is seen as a wide receiver guy.
Yeah.
And at his core, a wide receiver coach. I thought he had some interesting nuggets that he dropped over the weekend about that position and some of the players in the team.
Yeah, he did. It was very fascinating, man, hearing him talk. Again, it gave you enough of an answer to kind of lead you a little bit, man. And again, it's very fascinating how he approached it. Again, good information, but nothing too crazy. I was glad that he was thorough on the rookies, though, as well, and how they're going to try to scheme up and kind of broke down some stuff. I know Teron Davenport asked some questions, and he was very thorough on that explanation to me, too. So, good stuff.
We'll hear that coming up here in about 15 minutes. But first, Juke Harris makes it official with Tennessee basketball. On3's number 1 transfer player in the portal picks Tennessee over Michigan, North Carolina, and the NBA draft. And I think that's the big part of this for a situation that many expected could go into mid to late May in terms of committing, but then maybe still staying in the draft process. That process is done. He's going to be involved next year.
Yeah.
And so Tennessee now adds Juke Harris, a player who, as a 6'7" guard, averaged 21.5 points per game last year, shot 52.7% as his effective field goal percentage, 44% for the floor, 33% for the three-point line, to a class with Day-Day Ames from Cal, Terrence Hill Jr. from VCU as your point guard, Tyler Lundblade from Belmont, Notre Dame's Jalen Harrelson, Braden Liu from Kennesaw State, Loyola Chicago's Miles Rubin, and they still might not be done.
No.
Highest scoring player among the group, the 5th player, Ramon, that Tennessee has added this offseason to score more than 15 points per game last season. The transfers I just named combined last year to score 107.3 points per game. What are the expectations for you for Tennessee basketball heading into this upcoming season?
Final 4. There's no other way around it. I listened to our resident basketball expert, Ron Slade K. Savage, say it yesterday. If this was a Roy Williams team, if this was a Kansas team, if this was Calipari, if this was Connecticut, then everybody in the basketball world will be clamoring over this class and how he put it together. And I think that when you have that type of statement right there, with these type of players that have had this level of success, it should be the expectation. Every player on this squad right now can go get a bucket. Not just that, but their perimeter shooting is elite. If somebody's off, and I think that's been an issue that the Vols have had as of late, when a player is off, and you're looking for answers. Well, this team has this. I don't know if we had that in years past where I feel like Coach Barnes had to scheme up plays for the Vols to go score. Now, you can look at Juke Harris' situation and say he can just wave everybody off in a gotta-go have it moment. Now, again, in those moments, you have your highs and you have your lows. Well, Juke Harris has had a whole lot of highs in these type of moments. And if he's not there, he can drive and dish the ball out to Tyler Lundblade. If he's not there, he can go find Terrence Hill Jr. If not, he can go up top to Miles Rubin. Like, there's a lot of athleticism, skill, and the ability to go score on this team. Like, legitimately having Juke be like, move, clear it out. And to create, I don't know if he's at this level.
No, he's not.
I don't know if he's at this level.
I don't think he has either. He has 3 or 4 players who in any given year could profile as the quote-unquote Dalton Connect transfer that season.
Yeah.
Tennessee has been as good as anybody in the transfer portal in finding a star.
Mm-hmm.
I think they found multiple stars in this group. Juke Harris gives Tennessee 5 incoming transfers that averaged 15 points or more last season. Rick Barnes was on the RTI Lowdown podcast with Chris Lowe and the Rocky Top Insider crew that do a great job. And he said Sunday night, quote, "We don't want to coach these guys on every play. We want some guys that can go create offense."
Mm-hmm.
That is a significant departure from the way things have been run for a really good program. That comes with follow-up questions. Can you get these guys to give you the effort that's required to play defense for Rick Barnes at every possession? That's a great question to be asking. I think it has a simple answer. Absolutely. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. I think the other question is, how does all of this fit together when there's one basketball? And for a number of players that are used to being primary scoring options and used to having things schemed up for them, how does Day-Day Ames adjust to Juke Harris having plays drawn up for him or just him creating and kicking it out? And the possession continues into a second or third phase of someone else getting an opportunity to go to the rim and score. What I do like, too, Ramon, is that the floor of just overall shooting ability is really high for this team. Ryan Shumpert put this out, Rocky Top Insider writer at Ryan Shumpert00. With Juke Harris in the fold, Tennessee's 6 incoming transfers combined to make 367 three-pointers last year. Tyler Lundblade made 115 for Belmont, shooting 41%. Juke Harris made 87, shooting 33%. Terrence Hill Jr. Made 81, shooting 37%. Day-Day Ames made 56 threes at a 37.6% clip. Braden Liu, the Kennesaw State forward, made 23 threes at a 27% clip. And Jalen Harrelson even chipped in 5. This team can shoot.
They can.
And I think even if they have an off night shooting, they also have 3-level scorers that can go to the rim and get fouled. My biggest question, though, of all of I just said, is what happens when you get an SEC play and you get some of these big guys in foul trouble? What happens when Dwayne Brown gets 2 in the first 5 minutes and all of a sudden you're down to Miles Rubin and Jalen Harrelson? Or Jalen Harrelson gets 2 fouls in the first half, and now he's got to sit and you've got to go to one of your bench players. What happens when 2 of them get in foul trouble? And now all of a sudden, is this kid Favor Ibe, who was on campus this week? Does he commit? And now do you have a freshman 7'1" guy who's a little bit more raw that you've got to put in there on nights in the SEC on the road when you're not getting a home whistle? That's the only really substantial question I can ask for this team, is just regarding their overall depth inside. But it's a great problem to have at this point because I think they are loaded in the backcourt.
It is, man. It's a phenomenal problem to have. But the other part, too, and I asked all those questions to Savage this weekend. We were talking about it because, like, the optimism that Juke was going to commit was high at that point in time.
It has been for a while, for sure.
Yeah, especially when was it Nako said, I think, gave him the
crystal ball.
Crystal ball.
Yeah.
So with that being said, though, too, like
you
mentioned
the on-3 prediction.
On-3 prediction.
RPM, it's all the same.
when you talk about, okay, where's the ball going to bounce? Okay, that is a big thing as far as rebounding. Apparently, this group is super athletic. They can go get it, even if you don't have the bigs to go play. And the other part, though, too, is their ability to get to the rim and make contact and finish or get the foul, to your point, is how you attack the bigs. Like, the guards that you have on this team and the small forwards and forwards that you have, I think will allow it can force teams to get outside of what they're used to. So if you do operate like Florida or Michigan, where your bigs dominate around the bucket, well, guess what? These guys aren't afraid of contact that Coach Barnes have signed right now. They're going to go at you. And not just that, but to your point about it not just being a three-point shooting team, this is a mid-range team. This is the team that will go inside and try to slow it down and work the clock as well. So I'm fascinated to see again, see this group come together. But the other side for me is this. I think the pressure of having known shooters, which is what, when you look at Michigan, that's what they had. When you look at Arizona, they had those as well. And when you look at those teams, they apply pressure to pull you out away from the rim. And the other part, though, too, if you do become a three-point shooting team, the long rebounds. I was talking to Savage about that. I was like, yo, what do you do when the team shoots like that? It's like, well, the athleticism that you have from Duke Miles, right, to be able to go up and get a ball out of the air because of his athleticism, that's where you lay your head as well, too. I'm with you. There is some size missing. Looking at this Favor Ives kid, too.
Favor
Ibe. When you're looking at him as well, it would be good. He stands at about over 7 foot. That's cool, too, but it's going to have to require some athleticism, not just size as well. He's done more with less when it comes to height when I look at Coach Barnes. So I don't really necessarily worry about that part of it. Well, we as of late, as Vols fans, have just needed shooters. Sure, pure scorers, and that's where I feel like there's been a hiccup when you look at how they just got run down by Michigan in the Elite Eight. Like, that right there, I think, was where you had to be Coach Barnes and say, I got to go find guys that can go do that.
That's the next step for this program. 2 seasons in a row in the Elite Eight, they just had horrific shooting days. And partly because of the way defenses forced them to have horrific shooting performances in Michigan and Houston. And again, even in that Michigan game, you saw what foul trouble to your big guys did early in the game. And so I think that is the question for this team and its ability to hold its own inside against big physical teams like Florida and the other groups in that conference that are going to challenge you away from home.
Yep.
How do you manage a road whistle in the SEC with limited depth inside? We'll see.
And the other part, though, too, I think that's automatic, is the defense is going to come from it from the Vols' point, too. I do wonder what a smaller athletic team, and these guys aren't short. They're not small. Like, they're still
right. I mean, they're still long.
6'8".
Harrelson's a long guy. I mean, Juke Harris is a 6'7" guard.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, they still have size. So how much can they pester the opposing teams defensively to kind of apply pressure? And I think that's a good baseline, too, for these guys. A good bit of them still have they have defense in their game. You don't come play for Coach Barnes if hustle and defense isn't a part of your game as well.
And you're not a certain type of person.
Yeah.
In general. Like, he's not bringing in anybody who's going to be unwilling to defend.
Dalton and Nate came to get right under Coach Barnes. I think we're, as far as defense goes, when you look at Jamon Mashack's ability to get in a game in the NBA right now, he's coming up because he possesses elite defenses.
Like, the defense stuff isn't the biggest concern to me.
At all.
No. I understand why that question is asked for the amount of scorers they're bringing in, but it's not the biggest concern for me. The biggest concern is the overall rim protection and the amount of rim protectors that they have. Because at the moment, they just kind of have 2 guys who you would see as pure rim protectors.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. Between Braden Liu, Miles Rubin, and obviously Dwayne Brown.
Tough. Great pull by friggin' Coach Rick Barnes.
It's big time.
Big pull,
It feels like the end is closer than it's ever been for Rick Barnes at Tennessee, and this is a last roll of the dice to give him every resource that they can before he does ultimately retire. But, I mean, you've got North Carolina fans and Michigan fans looking around saying, like, man, we're getting outspent by Tennessee. Yeah. And I remember seeing that conversation on Twitter after Vandy beat Tennessee in the SEC tournament. Like, the rivalry's changed now because Vandy's going to outspend Tennessee. That was never true. It's never true.
No.
Vandy can spend. There's no question about that. I'm not going to take that away from you, but outspend is a very different thing to say. And Tennessee's still got money. They may not be the only team really doing NIL the way that they were at the beginning, because Tennessee was kind of first to market with a handful of other programs in terms of their ability to put together deals and the collective and all these things. Like, they were one of the first to really fully wrap their arms around NIL. That's changed now.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean they're just getting outspent.
No.
They still got money. They got plenty of it. And they are wielding their power at the moment. There's no doubt about it.
And this is where, to that conversation about, Vandy's outspending the Vols, is like, no, this is an every year expectation. That's been my pushback to the rivalry part of it as well. And you mentioned, I know Vandy's got a crazy endowment and money over there too, but fans get used to this. Like Vols fans, I would also say this, and they tweeted it out yesterday too, you might want to get some tickets for this season in basketball.
Yeah, no doubt.
This basketball season.
It'll be fun. Coming up, Brian Daboll spoke a lot about the Titans addressing one big weakness from the 2025 season. We'll talk about that next.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're going to fill us in there.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. Cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Ms. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Gotcha. Right? And from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running upstairs. And
not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay, I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jury's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair? The courtroom is where I play ball.
Boy, Durham, injury law. And that ain't got no roof.
Tuesday morning on Ramon and Will. Zone TV, 104.5 The Zone app, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, where you join us. Austin Price coming up at 8:20. Kevin Egan of Apple TV will talk some Nashville SC with us at 9 o'clock this morning. 615-737-1045, our number. Brian Daboll is a receivers coach at his core. And that's a good thing for the Titans, considering the need they have for this wide receiver room to take a step forward. He talked earlier this weekend about laying a foundation, new systems for everyone, not just the rookies, as they look to turn things around in the passing game in 2026.
I'll say with all the rookies, we're going to have to lay a foundation for them, just the language of it all. So as much as he can handle, as much as they can handle, we'll throw at them. We have to bring them along. You know, the vets are a little further ahead of them, but it is a unique situation for the rookies on our particular team because it's a new coaching staff. So it's new systems. So sometimes you get rookies and they're coming into year 3 or year 4 of the system where the vets are so further ahead of those guys. These guys are only a few weeks back in terms of the meeting time we've been allowed to have with our players. So we'll give him as much as he can handle. He is smart. We try to have all our skill guys, Paul, learn all the spots. So there's 5 eligible receivers on every pass play. The guys that are out there running routes, not just learn one spot to understand the entire system, the scheme that you're running. It's helpful if those guys can learn multiple things.
Brian Daboll also was asked about this team addressing a major weakness. And if you've listened to this show, you know how much we've spoken about it. The need to beat press coverage and man coverage in a more significant way than they did last year. Here's Daboll on that over the weekend.
Yeah, well, that's an insightful question. Could go on a long time about how you defeat press coverage. First of all, you have to have the ability to do that, particularly if you're just stationary on the line of scrimmage. But splits help that, motions help that, stacks and bunches and help that, schematic things, and then those guys are going to have to get good at their craft. You can't line up in those things all the time. So I think G. Lou's done a good job. We're working on the foundational pieces, the fundamentals of those things, tracking the ball, catching the ball, creating separation, releases, route stems, and then understand the different concepts where we're going to put the guys to hopefully help that.
He's obviously at times going to play X. What is it that makes you think that he could be on the ball and beat that press coverage he's going to face?
Well, I've seen him do it. Again, coming into the league, there's a lot of good corners in this league that are very adept at those techniques. Something you constantly work on. But again, part of it is our job too to help the players, create those separation things if you can. Again, it could be a short motion, a long motion, a stack, a bunch. There's a variety of things, but we've seen Carnell do that. Watching the Ohio State tape, and he is big. He's strong. He makes contested catches. He gets behind the defense. You can run him on short patterns, intermediate patterns, but again, there's a big transition every year from coming out of college to the NFL, and that's something that he's going to have to work on. But we're also going to have to work on that, trying to help him.
Brian Daboll speaking with the media over the weekend. What stands out there, Ramon?
The fact that it's best for the wide receivers to learn everything. It honestly gives me a little bit more of a reservation when it comes down to who get what reps. He also acknowledged, too, that, this team is in a unique situation as far as install goes. The rookies have to get caught up, but the vets aren't that far along. That's why I look at a situation where, one, all these wide receivers are the best one that understands, ingests this playbook, and knows how to execute it on the practice field will have a better opportunity of impressing the coaches and probably gaining more trust as well. That's where, to me, looking at the second offense that Calvin's been in here since he's been in Nashville, and that's why I look at the challenges of Chimray, DK, and also Elikai Maynard towards him. I think the 2 safest wide receivers on this team is Wan'Dale Robinson and Carnell Tate, most definitely. As far as wide receivers go, it's important that these veterans, specifically a guy like Calvin, who's going into a big year for himself career-wise and just pride-wise too, doesn't let that get into the back of his head. I feel like the way Daboll's going to coach him is who's the best for us in these moments. And you can find yourself either ascending or descending as quick as possible. And also, to the other side of, we've discussed this a little bit in the last hour about how does this team beat man coverage? And to me, the biggest part I take from Daboll and that side of it is, one, you just better have the ability to.
Just have dudes.
Yeah.
Have guys who can, first of all, before you get into the schematic stuff.
Oh, my gosh.
On how you scheme it.
Yeah, because all the undressing is cute, and you should be able to, but this is a very simple league when it boils down to what you're asking people to do, either when you're defending them or when you're trying to attack them. It is, how simple can I make my job to execute it at the highest level as quick as I possibly can? Because when I start doing all the eccentric stuff, the undressing, the motions, the stacking and stuff like that, you're probably taking away from somebody's route or giving up portions of the field because of it in general. And for Coach Daboll to come out and say, no, we got to ask our guys to beat you first.
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, I think is the biggest take of his presser the other day.
There is a way that Cam Ward can help this offense beat man coverage too that has nothing to do with the receivers. Run more.
Yeah.
If you use your legs, and if Cam Ward can be smart with the way that he utilizes his athleticism, all of a sudden you start scrambling for yardage, and on 3rd and 5, you are decisive with when to escape the pocket and can pick up 12 on the ground.
Yeah.
Those defensive backs who have their back turned to you because they're in man coverage all of a sudden have to turn around and keep their eyes on you and have to use the phrase and the plan that Coach Mack talked about so much. You got plaster.
Yeah.
You force teams to get into zone by running. Should running and Cam's athleticism, Ramon, be a bigger part of this offense?
I'm going to be real with you. I don't know Cam's athleticism. Can he run the ball? Anybody can run the ball. Is it a benefit to this team for Cam to be a runner? What level of running are we looking for? Are we looking for Joe Burrow level running? Are we looking for Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts probably is a sweet spot.
I don't think Jalen Hurts. Well,
that's a sweet spot for me.
Let's see. How many rushing yards did Jalen Hurts have last year? I would guess between 300 and 400.
Yeah, just enough to keep you honest.
Jalen Hurts last season had...
I love to know this.
421 rushing yards.
There it is.
That, I think, makes sense. When I think of Jalen Hurts, I think more of his earlier seasons in Philly when he was having almost 800 rushing yards.
No, not that.
If you give me 2025 Jalen Hurts mobility, yeah. That's probably a bit over what I would expect.
Yeah.
What about Patrick Mahomes? Is that the right amount of mobility in running to throw, running to create windows, not necessarily running to run?
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
He had 422 rushing yards last year. And he was also running for his life, which, I mean, considering the current state of this offensive line, Cam might be as well.
Well, here's the other
in 2026.
Thing. We paint a picture of Patrick Mahomes doing that and running for his life, essentially, because those runs that he has where he's outside of the pocket and making those circus throws and catches, those are in harm ways right there. Like, he's just making it look good because he's creating a completion.
And he's learned how to protect himself.
That part of it.
I think Mahomes' athleticism is what you're looking for.
Yeah. Mahomes' athleticism.
58 carries for 307 in 2024, 75 for 389 in 23, 61 for 358. Mm-hmm. If you give me between 300 and 400 rushing yards, is that enough for defenses to start to have to play a little bit more zone against the Titans?
Yes, because the threat is there then. That's where Patrick murders people.
There you go.
I think that's what Josh Allen takes away from his game, because instead of throwing it, Josh just runs it. Like, I don't want that for Cam. He doesn't have the body type for it, and you're in a position where you're not even on your second contract yet. Just wait on that part of it as well. Know how, to your point, get down. If he does, to your point, becomes more mobile, and he sneaks those 5 to 7 yards and can get close to a 3rd and 1 situation, absolutely. I'd much rather Cam, to your point of what we're speaking about with Jalen Hurts and mostly Patrick Mahomes, use your legs to be a threat to where teams, to your point, zone defenses break down. They start to lose their men. His first touchdown of the season was a broken play off to the side where he threw across his body. Well, do that better is what I would say. Do that better, and also do it in a way where it becomes a part of your game, not your entire game.
Right. It's probably not a sustainable ask for him to do that all the time.
Yeah. again, you're not going to, I think we're going to say the same thing. I just need it to be a threat. That at any point in time, like I would even throw this in there. So Ben Roethlisberger, who I played with, of course, he was a guy that had mobility, but his threat was surviving contact and being able to move outside of the pocket and just shoulder a throw down the field. That's what legends are made of. That's why we love Patrick so much. That's why I think Josh Allen has turned into the guy that he is at this point in time in his career too, is because the legend of you surviving the hit or creating with your legs to steal. This is the other part for Cam for me. Still play quarterback. That 5-yard run, you might want to pull up and catch your guy crossing across the middle. Or a defender loses his guy down the field. That's where you make the dun-dun-duns, dun-dun-duns. You see what I'm saying? Like, I know we're on the same page with this one, but I'm with him being mobile. I'm with him using his legs, but not at the risk of getting injured, getting tackled like he did in Jacksonville again. Because now that that's on your record, on your tape, you got to learn how to slide. I'd much rather have him be mobile, to your point, to find the open receiver.
Sure.
That's the Miami Cam to me.
I agree. I totally agree. I think it's going to be interesting. And some of the splits and numbers would tell you he was better against man than he was zone a season ago. But to me, it is his ability to just hit the plays that he hit so much in college.
Yeah.
It's the 10 to 20 yards downfield, the timing stuff over the middle to Wan'Dale Robinson. The big question is there a deep passing game for this offense? Is there Cam's ability to be accurate on passes deep down the field? I stood next to a lot of footballs last season that hit the ground that need to be caught this year.
Yeah.
You've now given Cam Ward a downfield weapon to catch more of those passes.
Yeah.
That eliminates an excuse for Cam Ward. If footballs are hitting the ground deep to Carnell Tate this upcoming season, how much of that do we blame on Carnell Tate or Cam Ward? And maybe the better question is, how much grace do they get? How much time do they get to figure out how to click? I tend to think that when you draft a wide receiver top 5, and when you put wide receiver 1 expectations on him with a young quarterback who he's supposed to grow with, those plays need to be made early and often.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not banking on the deep ball. I know what you mean by that. Like, when you go for it, it's got to answer.
Yeah. When you throw them, catch them.
Maybe it's my
I don't think that's too much to ask.
No,
I'm not saying you have to throw deep balls all the time.
Okay.
I'm not talking about frequency of hitting these plays. I mean, when you when you go for it, connect on them.
Put it in the radius is what you're asking.
Too many of those passes were not catchable that Cam Ward threw deep down the field last season.
Gotcha.
It is a major question that I have about his ability to play at this level. Can you be accurate deep down the field? You now have a wide receiver that specializes in, hey, put it in my force field, and I'm a magnet.
Yeah.
I'm going to go up and get it.
Okay. So that to me is where I was pushing back on the deep ball conversation, like the frequency of it.
It's not your bread and butter.
Yes, okay.
But I do think you need it to open up everything else.
When you call it, it needs to be a threat and not just a hope that you catch it. And that does, to your point, falls on the touch, the timing, and just the execution of the play from Cam and the receiver at the end. Don't get jammed at the line of scrimmage or don't get pushed out of bounds, whatever the case may be. So you got to win the sideline.
Right.
Let's start there.
Right.
But the ability to drop it in the basket or at least make it a catchable ball. That's one thing I think Russell Wilson deserves a lot of credit on. Whether it's too high of a moon ball, I think even more so. That's what Jalen Hurts is trying to learn how to do more. But Russ would toss the ball up and give his guys an opportunity. It wasn't just sailing over their head or behind them like it did last year. That's the step you're asking for when you mean deep ball.
Correct.
Gotcha.
I'm not saying you got to throw it down there all the time.
Yes.
But when you do, you got to hit on more of those because you miss on plays like that, you put yourself in more third and longs.
Yeah, you do.
When you just come up empty. Last season, according to Next Gen Stats, Cam Ward on passes of 20-plus air yards was 15 of 44 for 520 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a 75.9 quarterback rating, which was 8th worst in the NFL last season, and a 34% completion percentage. That's the area where Cam has got to make improvements. And you now have a wide receiver who was literally brought here to help change that statistic and help change that stat. I'll do you one better. Between 10 and 20 yards. We've talked so much about how coming out of Miami, that was Cam Ward's strength.
Yeah.
Cam Ward had the second worst passer rating in the NFL last year on passes between 10 and 20 yards. He was 51 of 127 for 852 yards. That's a 40% completion percentage. A 62.2 quarterback rating. Geno Smith was the only quarterback of the NFL with a worse passer rating on passes between 10 to 20 air yards. For perspective, Jared Goff had a 136 QB rating and completed 64% of his passes between 10 and 20 yards. That is what Wan'Dale Robinson was brought here to help change.
No doubt. What you have to me is a variation of field generals, in my personal opinion. I think, to your point, Carnell can go down the field. I think Calvin can as well. I think Carnell is a better intermediate sideline wide receiver than Calvin probably is right now, just based off what we've seen from hands. Now, I know Carnell hadn't displayed his hands or his ability to get open at the NFL level. But to your point about him being a top 5 pick, the expectation is he's supposed to answer that call. When you look at Wan'Dale, to me, he's just a weapon. Mm-hmm. We're not even mentioning the tight ends just yet, or the screen game, or just all the concepts that will be a part of this offense as well. What you have now is options. That's probably the best place that the Titans have been in a very long time.
Mm-hmm. We got a comment on Twitter. Warfield hits us up and says, I know a guy that's accurate downfield, and it's a Will Levis gif.
Who is he? No way. He's not serious.
I'll play that game. In 2024, I've got the stats right here too, because I'm still up on NFL Pro. In 2024, on passes of 20-plus yards, Will Levis was 13 of 38 for 517 yards, 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, completing 34% of his passes. So I'll play that game with Levis too. Identical completion percentage.
Daboll also bragged about him. Well, he talked about him shortly for a second. He was just talking about how big of an athlete he was with a strong arm and stuff like that.
Of course he did.
The issue that whoever that is from the Levis perspective is this. He's in a 3-man race for backup or trade at this point. It's Trubisky, Hendon, and himself.
I don't think it's much of a race. I think Mitch Trubisky was brought here to be your backup quarterback.
Well, yeah, he's in a fight for 3 or 4 at this point. My point of it is this: when it comes down to the Levis side of proclaiming his, I guess, goodness that can come out of it. We saw numerous times where that just didn't connect. Is it fair or unfair that Levis hadn't had another opportunity yet? That's on what he shows. I guarantee you this, though. If Levis had came out and sustained what he had in that Falcons game a few years ago, I think, what was it, 2024 or 2023? Yep. We'd be having a different conversation about the quarterback in general.
We'd also be having a different conversation if he didn't get surgery last year.
This is true.
I mean, it's not a matter of fair or unfair on him getting another opportunity. If he'd played in camp last year, he probably already would have a new opportunity.
I think they just say this about Levis just to get the people going.
No, I think there are legitimately people that feel like Levis got a bad deal here and deserved more time. I think that part of the fan base exists.
I do think he'll get another opportunity.
Oh, I do too.
It just won't be here.
I agree. 615-737-1045 open for your phone calls. We will talk about another Nashville-based quarterback coming up. The Ravens sent a message to Diego Pavia yesterday. We'll explain how coming up next. In this real estate market, you need a local agent with years of experience and a proven track record. You need Bernie Gallerani Real Estate if you're thinking of buying or selling your home. And who says there are no guarantees in life? Bernie Gallerani guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. Yeah, there's no risk to you. There's no catch. Bernie will let you out of the contract at any time. He is the real estate agent with the 30-day guarantee. And Bernie cares about Middle Tennessee and knows the area. He knows how to get you top dollar for your home. Don't just take my word for it. Head online to BernieGallerani.com to learn more about him, or call him at 615-428-2644. Bernie is so confident about his ability to help you that he's given out his personal cell phone number, 615-428-2644. You can learn more about the services him and his team provide online at BernieGallerani.com. Take that leap of faith and get the 30-day guarantee by selling your home with Bernie Gallerani Real Estate. Online at BernieGallerani.com. Wrapping up the first half of the show on Ramon and Will. Austin Price coming up in 10 minutes. We'll get back to the Titans receiver and O-line stuff because Brian Daboll was asked about his right guard position. And I thought gave an interesting answer when he was asked over the weekend. 615-737-1045, our number. So the Ravens wrapped up rookie minicamp Sunday, and Jesse Minter was pretty non-committal about Diego Pavia, saying, now he's in the door, show us what you can do. And just like all the undrafted rookies, that's what I would say. He says, for us, we see it as an opportunity to bring a player in that could potentially be something. And that's really what this is for us. Well, yesterday, I thought they sent a message, Ramon, about Pavia and about the other quarterback they brought in from UConn because they signed Skylar Thompson to their 90-man roster.
Did they?
They did.
Oof.
Former Dolphins backup. They now have 5 quarterbacks on the roster, including, of course, Lamar Jackson and Snoop Huntley as well, and the 2 undrafteds, including Pavia.
The advice that Pavia got was be quiet, be seen, and don't speak. That is how it goes for an undrafted. Like, he's coming in with I'm sure guys are probably joshing him as well and messing with him and cracking jokes. Like, when you walk into that world, you belong to them. And I think that's what he's learning right now. For all the college fans, I would say specifically Vandy fans that may look at this and say, hey, they're treating him wrong. No, this is the life you live. It was the same for me, to be quite honest with you. It's the same of all rookies. You don't get nothing until you earn it in the NFL. And, like, when it boils down to that position, it's Lamar's spot. They probably already have their number 2 already signed. And this is an opportunity for you to go show what you're made of. Yes, you work your butt off to be one of the best college players or for that opportunity. But legitimately, who was it that said it? Jesse Minter?
Yep.
So now you're in the door. Just show us what you got. That's where I will say I think if Diego Pavia really believes in himself the way that he talks about himself, then this is where it's go time for him.
Sure is.
The opportunity to perform in OTAs, show that you can handle the huddle. The running that he's used to doing right now, I don't think is going to be something that he needs to be doing. He needs to show that he's a thrower and can understand the offense first. When you get to preseason, that's when you put on your physicality. And to be quite honest with you, he could become a storyline. I think he will become a storyline this preseason.
Already is.
Mm-hmm. He'll be a storyline. This is just the life that he's got to live. There's no other way around it, especially when you come with a little bit of, I guess, fanfare and press behind you as well. Diego didn't help himself going into the NFL, respectfully. The talking that he did, the spotlight that he put on himself, and then you also go undrafted. There's a lot of SEC guys in his league.
Hard to make it that way.
It is hard to make it. I'm not telling him to shut up and throw the ball, but what I'm telling him is you might just want to shut up and just play ball.
And just throw the ball.
Yeah. I'm contradicting the heck out of myself.
No, but I think it's in this context, it's more than fair.
That's just what it is. And that's with all due respect to him and his mantra and his family.
Austin Price joins us coming up next. What allowed Tennessee to close the deal with Juke Harris, and who else is on the board for Rick Barnes? Our Vols insider Austin Price joins us after this.
If you're looking for TRT that's flexible enough for your lifestyle, well, head to Low T Center, the #1 name in TRT. You can choose testosterone shots, y'all. You can just do the pills, or they have numerous different ways for you to get it taken care of, man. You can also pay with your insurance or out of pocket, or even have your treatment shipped to your door at your house. And now Low T Center is offering new peptides, new treatments, and so much more, where you can boost your energy, libido, and just confidence for results that you can feel. Synergex and Low T Center, they provide testosterone replacement therapy and hormone replacement therapy tailored to your body, your lifestyle, and your budget. When hormones are imbalanced, patients feel fatigue, low drive, mood changes, and body changes as well. Balancing your hormones means living a better life, a healthier life. And testosterone, not just for the fellas either. Testosterone is important for women as well. It can boost your energy, confidence, your drive, and so much more. And no, It will not turn you into a man. Doses for women are very careful, so it can just help you meet your goals. The free T-test is a simple blood test called the total testosterone test. It takes about 20 minutes to get your results, and then you're out the door with all the answers that you need. Personalized, provided, led care. Again, book your free testosterone test now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
8:02. Good morning, live from the Circuit Sports, the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Rick Barnes continues his strong work in the transfer portal as Wake Forest transfer guard Juke Harris commits to the Vols on Monday and is the 7th addition to the Vols this offseason. Through the transfer portal, Harris is the number one player in the portal, according to On3 Sports ranking, averaged 21 points per game last season. NBA playoffs on Monday night, the Knicks dominated the 76ers 137-98 to take a 1-0 series lead. Anthony Edwards scored 18 points in his return from injury for the Timberwolves as they go on to beat the Spurs 104-102 and lead their series now 1-0. NHL playoffs on Monday, the Hurricanes take a 2-0 series lead over the Flyers after a 3-2 win in overtime. The Golden Knights beat the Ducks in the nightcap 3-1 to lead their series 1-0. Tonight, Nashville Soccer Club returns to the pitch to face Tigres in the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinals. Nashville's down 1-0 on the aggregate. They must win tonight, scoring at least 2 goals to advance to the final. Kickoff is at 8:30 p.m. Central Time on FS1. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
A little remix to the normal sound you hear to start hour 3 because we're about to talk some Vols as we head to Knoxville here to begin the 8 a.m. hour. He's Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling. Every time the glass breaks, that means Austin Price of VolQuest and On3 joins us. Good morning, Austin. How are we doing?
I don't know, guys. You guys work in a polling center this morning?
We're not.
No.
It just means that more kids are out of school, and maybe there's more of Middle Tennessee's youth that's joining us listening this morning.
Make Ramon and Will great again, guys. Make Ramon and Will great again.
Austin, Tennessee gets the deal done with Juke Harris, so maybe our weekly question will have to change back to who's the quarterback going to be. What ultimately allowed the Vols to get this over the line and close the deal with Juke yesterday?
I think Rick Barnes, the relationship he had with him from the first time around, proved pivotal. I think the distance from home was far enough, but not too far. I think the family was never big on Michigan because it was just going to be hard for them to get to games. I mean, it's a 4-hour drive, from his hometown in North Carolina over to Knoxville, which isn't too bad. And I think the money obviously was right. I think there was a number of different factors. It's not just money. It's not just, playing for Rick Barnes. It's a combination of all those things that led him to, go this route. But, I think for him it was about getting the proper feedback from the NBA. Okay, what do you guys want to see me improve at before next year? Okay, these 2 or 3 things, and go. And so I think that's the biggest reason why this kind of went down the way it went down.
Austin, for people that are just kind of learning about him and now that the official signing happens and kind of wants to know the scouting report, what is his skill set? How do you expect Tennessee to use Juke Harris in 26 and 27?
Explosive, a bucket getter. To be honest with you, that's what they've done. This team has got a ton of talent on it, a ton of scores on it. There's only one ball. It's going to be fascinating to see how they all mesh. And that was the question we got last night in the chat was what's the best thing and what's the one thing that can hold them back? And it's for me, the one thing that can hold them back is they just only have one basketball. And you've got a bunch of guys that have averaged 15, 16, 17, 18, 21 points a game at their previous stops. So they're all used to getting shots off. And if it works, it's going to be unbelievable. But, you do wonder about, how does it play with so many scores? He can score the basketball. He's fantastic with the ball in his hands. He is an alpha mentality, which I think goes a long way. And so for Juke, he's explosive. He can go get shots, or he might get shots. He can go get points. He can go get buckets, and and do the little things that Tennessee really needed to have last year down the stretch at times.
No doubt. We're joined by Austin Price of All Question on 3 this morning. Austin, you know how we are as Vols fans, man. As soon as we get something good on Christmas, we're looking, okay, well, what are we getting for my birthday? And that is, everybody's wondering about bigs, man. You know how it is. How did the visit go with Favor Ibe?
Yeah, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it.
I thought I was right.
I would go Favor eBay.
Okay.
But yes, that's got all kinds of fun for Mike Keith written all over it. It went well. Again, what does the kid want financially versus what does Tennessee? I mean, I keep saying Tennessee with their final spot, their big man spot that they're trying to add here is going to go with the best value, whoever that is. They're not going to pay a king's ransom for a kid. So, does the kid want a chance to be, come in here and have a chance to play because Tennessee's not super deep in the post? I mean, I think that certainly plays. He obviously liked Rick Barnes a lot. He liked Tennessee a lot, but did not shut down the process. So that means, he's still searching for something, whether that's more money, whether that's a better opportunity, whether that's, better academics or whatever. He's searching for something, which is why he's not shut down the process as of now.
Fascinating. Well, if he does shut down the process, what kind of impact could he have in 2026 if he does commit to the Vols? I know size is a huge part of it as well, but besides that, I feel like Rick Barnes loves an athletic big as well.
He does. I think it really depends on what the guys in front of him do. No one saw Dwayne Brown at this point a year ago factoring in to last year's team. Mm-hmm. Nobody. Not one person that covers this beat. I'd say probably half the staff did not know that Dwayne Brown was going to be as polished as he was, to be as much of a factor as he became throughout the season. So I think some of that is to be determined, but, I think when you need someone that can play in the post, that can provide length, and they obviously have those attributes like Favor does, then I think you have a chance to see what he can blossom into. But again, I think it's way too early to know what he can or can't be because, again, last year nobody saw Dwayne Brown or Amari Evans, for that matter, being the solid contributors that they were throughout the season.
Austin Price of AllQuest with us at Austin Priceless, where you get him on Twitter. Switching over to the football recruiting side of things, Austin, as things start to ramp up here in the months of May and June, new commit Carter Jamison joining the 2027 class. What does Tennessee like about him?
They like his physicality, explosiveness. I think he's got to continue to get better in coverage, but he's a kid that likes to come down, likes to hit, plays at a powerhouse in Creekside. Obviously, Tennessee fans know that's cool because that's where Eric Berry came from, and so did the twins, Evan and Elliott. But, I mean, they routinely produce really good players. They're routinely playing for state titles in the state of Georgia. And so he comes from a program that knows how to win and knows what talent looks like. And, the coach, was uber, complimentary of what he does defensively for them. Tennessee likes him as a nickel, and so we'll see kind of where things go from there. But to me, it's a smart take because I think his recruitment will continue to go boom over the next few months, and we'll see where things shake out, come October, November, December.
Austin, with David Gabriel Georges, speaking of programs that are churning out good talent, and Baylor in Chattanooga, it feels like we're going along this same script. And I know every recruitment is different. Every player has different priorities. But the big 5-star target that Tennessee really wants, and a lot of the national buzz is for teams not named Tennessee. And we talked to you and Brent, and it's, hey, Tennessee's in a good spot. And Tennessee's landed the past couple of cycles of guys that have kind of followed that same script. As Tennessee battles with Ohio State, Georgia, Ole Miss in this one, do you think this is still a Tennessee-Ohio State battle for DGG? And what's kind of the latest on the next steps of this recruitment?
I do. I really do. I think it's a 2-team race. The other ones are just trying to see if they can take a swing and hit the pinata with the blindfold on. Tennessee's in a good spot as they can be in, as we said here in early May. Now, I don't believe David Gabriel Georges has made up his mind, no matter what everybody wants to say and has pushed a narrative for so long. I don't believe David Gabriel Georges has made up a decision, and I think he's likes both schools. I think there are perks at both, and that's why he's going to go through the official visit process. Tennessee has some nice feathers in their cap, and Ohio State does as well. But I continue to like where Tennessee's at as we sit here in early May. But I also will firmly believe DGG does not know for certain what he's doing right now. And so he is going to go through the process and see where things shake out. At the end of the day, the financials always are going to play a key role in this. Listen, the one thing I do like about this, the new era is we've finally evolved where, like, a few years ago, it was like, you're trying to describe a thing and you're trying to, we finally got to the point where we can just call it what it is. Like, you're going to have the money talks on the OVs. Everybody's going to put their best foot forward with the financial package, and we'll see where things shake out. If they're pretty even, if everything's kind of even, I still think there are more feathers in the cap of Tennessee than there are Ohio State.
There are agents with these guys on OVs?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes no, but sometimes.
All right, for sure. I was wondering about that one, man. But where do the Vols stand, man, with Westview duo Miles Brown and also Asa Barnes?
Tennessee coaches will be by there to see them today at practice, and I think you'll start to hear more and more chatter about kind of where those recruitments are going to go over the next several days. I still think as of right now, it feels like Tennessee would be in a pretty good spot for both. As we said here, on the 5th day of May. By the way, happy birthday to my youngest daughter, Avery.
Hi, happy birthday, Avery.
She's out of school she thinks because of her birthday, but because of Election Day.
Worked out well.
So I don't have her working a polling center. She's watching Disney Plus. But with those two, I think the rubber's going to meet the road over the next week or two on a decision from those two players.
No doubt. Vols, as of late, man, with all the talent that they've had, if it pans out, man, we might turn into linebacker U, Austin. And with that, what are Tennessee chances on landing 5-star linebacker Caden Henderson?
Tennessee's in there. They're certainly swinging. We'll kind of see where things go from there, but that's a big boy recruitment. And so, it's going to be one that's highly contested, but Tennessee's done a nice job to get in the mix, and we'll kind of see where things go over the next 6 to 8 weeks as he rolls into official visits and takes those, and we'll see if Tennessee can maybe they can hit the pinata.
Sure. Austin, on the way out, Easton Royal, another big name and a big recruitment, obviously committed to Texas, 5-star wide receiver, top receiver in the country. How's that dialogue been with Tennessee as they continue to try to have conversations and get him flipped?
Continues to go as well as one can go. But he's committed. He's from Texas. Like, we'll see. Like, I think Tennessee's fighting an uphill battle here. Common sense and history tells you that. But Kelsey Pope's done such a fantastic job that they're even in the conversation. Like, history tells you there shouldn't even be a conversation, but Kelsey Pope has recruited his tail off and continues to do a fantastic job to put Tennessee firmly in the mix there as a potential spot to flip, Easton Royal. So, again, history tells you that probably doesn't happen, but Kelsey Pope has been as good of a recruiter as Josh Heupel has had the last couple of cycles. So you don't discount him in this thing. We'll see where it goes.
Austin, just to back that up real quick, though, too, it's been quiet on the Tristan Keys front. That could be a good thing. He's in and just doing this thing the way you need him to, Austin?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
He went through spring. He was a little bit slowed after some off-season, cleanup stuff. And,
okay.
I think will be to me the good news for him is neither Travis Smith or Rodarius Jackson came in and ran away with the other spot, in spring, and so we'll see what kind of ground he can make up over the summer months and into the first few weeks of fall camp in August.
Tune in next week to hear Austin Price be asked by us, who's the quarterback going to be for the 18th time? He joins us Tuesday mornings here at Hour 3, 8 o'clock this morning. Austin, we appreciate you as always. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate
Yes,
it,
sir.
Austin.
Austin Price with us here this morning. I mean, we don't have the Juke Harris question anymore, so it's DGG, and who's the quarterback going to be?
I know. I got serious there and want to know about Tristan Keys because he was the big 5-star last year. And then we referenced a kid that's committed to Texas, and I was just like, well, let me ask a journalist question here. And I forgot to ask my tradition now, I guess, weekly question of who's the starting quarterback.
The David Gabriel Georges recruitment is really fascinating, and I don't blame fans for becoming a bit more jaded and a bit more checked out on high school recruiting than they used to be, because these players often, you invest so much time in their high school recruitments and then they leave after a year. So I kind of get it. David Gabriel Georges is a little different. And again, I think, Ramon, you have to like Tennessee's track record in getting their top target. David Sanders was their top target. They got him over Ohio State. Faison Brandon and Tristan Keys both, I would say, were top targets, plural.
Yeah.
Got both of them last season. Can they go 3 for 3 on one of the most important in-state recruitments in the history of Tennessee football? This is one of the best players, I think, Ramon, to ever play high school football in this state. I don't think that's hyperbole.
Yeah.
This guy is just different.
I talked to his position coach at Baylor.
Did you?
Yeah, he's a ball. Eric Westmoreland.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a position coach. And I was asking him just on that side of it. And by the way, Emo has nothing to do with his decision to go to Tennessee or Ohio State before. Like, I'm not sure if people knew that he was at Baylor, but he sent kids everywhere is what I'm getting at before I go into DGG. And I asked him, I said, man, be real with me. How good is he? Like, is he what you say? And they say, he's like, I'm telling you, the hardest working kid you've ever seen. He's got good vision. He's got the quick first step. He's got change of direction. He got breakaway speed. He mentioned some stuff that he got to work on as far as progressing to college.
Sure.
But he signed off on DGG as a former pro himself and as a linebacker on the opposite side of it. And he was just like, yeah, this is a good player.
I'll tell you what we really need to do is maybe I'm being selfish here. I think you'd be down for this. Who do we know in Chattanooga who we could do our show on Friday, August 21st and go watch BA Baylor on Thursday, August 20th?
I'd do it, okay?
I know you would.
I would absolutely do it. Who we know in chat?
I know some people at BA.
Holla at them.
The game's at Baylor, to be fair. But
I don't care.
That is that's as good of a high school football matchup for two state of Tennessee high school teams that you're ever
Put the zone on the road.
I'm down.
Paul, Allison, y'all listen to us right now. Dave, Elliot. What
Thursday,
we doing?
August 20th that night. We'd do our show Friday, August 21st from Chattanooga.
And we can just
or Thursday, the 20th that morning.
Make a cold-blooded little evening of the Chattanooga area. By the way,
that game's
very
beautiful
awesome place.
Chattanooga,
yes.
Have you been on Baylor or Macaulay's campuses?
Never. I haven't. No. It's like that? I've been on some nice private campuses in Middle Tennessee.
Nice. They might be the nicest in the whole division.
Straight up?
Yeah. It's crazy. There's a lake at Macaulay.
Right?
Both of them.
Oh, both of them are boarding schools?
I think Baylor is too.
I know Baylor is. I wasn't sure if Macaulay was.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They're both of them. It's not cheap.
I got a boarding school too.
There's a lake at Macaulay. It's called Lake Macaulay.
Is it?
Oh yeah. They have a lake when you pull into campus.
Got a lake in my house. You just got to go in the sink and get some water out of it.
615-737-1045. Back to Titans discussion when we come back. An interesting answer from Brian Daboll about his offensive line in the vacant starting right guard position coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, we hate dealing with those issues around our house. It could be plumbing caused by the uncle that came over. It could be your HVAC that just ran too hot and you hadn't had it serviced in a while. or something simple with your electrical, man. Most of the time, most of us don't know what's going to happen. I mean, what it will cost you if it get fixed right, or if somebody's trying to sell you something you do not need. I do know this. Every time I reached out to Hiller, the experts solve my problems quickly. Cool, a pro tip too. Whenever I call and book with them, I don't really usually just give my name or anything like that, but they usually come sooner than they usually tell me on the back end of it, man. They are good at what they do, and they want to get you taken care of as quickly as they possibly can. Hiller's been in business for over 35 years and operated, and they absolutely care about everything that they do. They believe in 100% satisfaction every single time. Their motto is, and they truly believe in it, happy you'll be or the service is free. You've heard them say that. Well, I'm here to tell you they live by it as well. To learn more about Hiller or to book with them like I do, simply head over to happyhiller.com.
Ramon Will continues on 104.5 The Zone, hour number 3 of the program, and available wherever you download podcasts at 10 a.m. each and every morning. Apple TV's Kevin Egan going to join us in a half hour.
Yay.
Talking about Nashville Soccer Club Leg 2 versus Tigres in Monterey tonight. 615-737-1045 is our number. So a lot of talk about receivers, about Cam Ward, about Brian Daboll's comments over the weekend regarding the Titans offense. I thought it was interesting, Jim Wyatt's question to Daboll about the offensive line options that are already in the room. And he kind of phrased the question, what do you think about the guys you have there battling at that guard spot? And do you feel like things are going to work themselves out? And I thought it was interesting the direction Brian Daboll went to answer this question about Titans O-line option. This was over the weekend.
Yeah, I think you said it'll all sort itself out. Again, for those guys right now, much like all the other players, but particularly for the line, you're playing, football. You're working on fundamentals, footwork, scheme, communication. All that'll play itself out in come training camp time. So, again, I think there's a lot of guys that are in there that are competing. But let's see when the pads come on and they're doing the things that we're asking them to do. Conscientious young men. We'll see where it falls out.
Two things, Ramon. I have something I know that he's saying, and I have something that I think that they're saying.
I swear I was thinking similar thoughts.
Let's start with the thing that we know to be true. It's really hard to evaluate offensive linemen until pads go on and they can really hit each other.
Nothing you can possibly do that could change my mind on that ever.
Yeah, right. And that's not until really the second or third week of training camp.
No doubt.
So OTAs are great, mini camp, all this stuff they're doing, meaningful. Who's listening to the room, who's taking coaching, who's athletic, who's in shape, all that's fine. But it is May.
It is May.
And until they put pads on in August, there's really only so much we can learn. That we know to be true.
And there'll be a little bit of physicality in it. As much as the NFLPA and the NFL have come together to try to take away shoulder-to-shoulder contact this time of the year, Jeffrey's going to run through somebody. John Franklin Myers is going to hit somebody. Peter Skoronski's going to deliver a blow back. These types of things are going to happen, but Will, it's not fully real. I can see to your response. Your point, I can see a response to contact. I can see your competitive nature show up a little bit. But as far as that position goes, where we got to go block and be contact on contact, and I have no regard for my body in these moments, they're not going to see this in the spring, not even a little bit. To your point, athleticism and understanding of play and not having mental errors. And the one thing that they can show is if they're always on the ground, those types of things. I'll add this to it too. Cadence, getting that down. If you're going on 1, you're going on hard count, you're going on 2 or 3, you're going on solid. We can get all that out the way. We can also set up, okay, where does Cam like the ball snapped at? Are you a thumb on the laces type of guy? Or are you a tip of the football type of guy? How are you snapping the ball? Those are the types of things. We can somewhat engage a little bit, Will, with a discussion. Who's at right guard? Who's at center? We can go back and forth on all of that, but none of it means anything until we hit late July.
I'm more confident on who the center is than who the right guard is.
There we go.
Austin Schlottman, until proven otherwise, is your center.
No doubt.
I feel less confident about Cordell Volson having the same level of security at right guard. Here's what I think they could be saying, because we already went through what we know. Between that comment and Dave Ziegler, the assistant GM, talking about they still need to add on the offensive line, I think their day one starting right guard isn't on the team yet. Because his answer there, I think, is telling of, we're going to let it all work out. That could mean we're going to let these guys play it out on the field. We like who we have. Could also mean, it'll work itself out. We'll bring somebody in.
I personally don't think they can risk it.
What risk is there to bring Kevin Zeitler back?
Is to get, because I go back to the answer he gave on the wide receiver side of things. This offense is so new and everybody's still learning. I look at JC's situation, if it's him at right tackle, and I say, okay, you're counting on him to not only learn the offense, but also teach up and catch up whoever the later signed right guard is going to be if it is a veteran. That's the only pushback I have on that one is I feel like you want to go in-house with the guys that you have, because there is a lot of bodies that are available to compete for the right guard position. One of those dudes, in my personal opinion, unless there is just a level of upgrading it, one of those dudes should be capable if they want to continue to stay in the NFL, whether that's Jackson Slater, whether that's Volson, whether that's
Fernando Carmona,
the not rookie.
Yeah.
Like, there are bodies. There are also guys who should be playing numerous positions on this roster as well, between guard and center, that should be competing for that spot. Like, there should be a log jam each and every day for the first seat or the first reps. I'm personally not going outside of the building unless there is a guy that you believe in and somewhat understands the system, because I think it's almost too much to ask a veteran to come in July in training camp. Not saying that it's impossible, but I would want to start with the guys in the room and say, this is who we have, because they have a plethora of dudes around. Drew Moss has been in the league for a while. Jackson Slater's been here for a while. Cardell Volson's been here for a minute. Like, they got guys up and down. Garrett Dellinger is another guy that's a young guy, too.
But Drew Moss has played 5 games in his career. I think he's been up for 5 games in his career. He's not. I mean, he's 22.
My point is, like, at some point, these guys got to decide if they're going to compete and be pros. And that, to me, from what I'm hearing Brian Daboll speak like, that's him. I feel like he's a guy that if you believe you're it, show me. And it comes down to a prove-it situation with him. Like, how many games you play, I think is irrelevant for him, because it very well could be Fernando Carmona starting week 1, and he's a rookie. So, like, to me, the experience don't really matter. A lot of these dudes going to have to crap or get up off the pot. It's that point to me. And I think this team mentality needs to be that moving forward, because to go out and expend more money for a proven veteran, I think it minimizes Jackson Slater, Fernando Carmona. I think Cordell Volson, what did you sign him for? Up and down the list of interior offensive linemen that they've brought in meant nothing, and those guys need to start looking elsewhere.
I don't think it means nothing. I mean, for Fernando Carmona, if you bring in a starter over him, it just means that he's not ready yet. Same for Jackson Slater.
Fernando
it would mean
Carmona,
nothing for Cordell Volson.
Yes, it does. In my personal opinion.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying it would be nothing for Cordell Volson to say, like, hey, you're probably not on the team.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
If we had someone else. That's the only one to me that you're giving up on.
Yeah.
If you bring in another guard.
Okay, yes, that part right there, I'm okay with.
Okay.
But as far as, like, the veterans, the non-rookies, in my opinion, including Jackson Slater, if they bring in if they bring in a vet over him, it's time to professionally start looking at other places. Maybe not that you're gone off the scene.
Is that the worst thing?
Is it the worst thing? Not for the Titans, because that means it was a weak link.
Well,
yeah.
Then there you go. Then I think that's all the more reason to say keeping your options open is the right thing to do right now at right guard.
Okay, so I think it's same conversation, different angle. I'm keeping my options open, but I'm staying in house first.
With who's in there. I'm throwing in Zeitler.
You throwing in Zeitler? I'm not throwing in Zeitler.
Zeitler or Bitonio. Joel Bitonio from the Browns.
I'm not. I just think the age component of it and how physical I expect this team to start playing, I'm not sure if those two dudes at their age are going to be able to hold up to it.
I'm not sure if Fernando Carmona, as someone who's never played pro football, can hold up to it.
I'd rather watch and let him grow as opposed to watch a veteran guy deteriorate and end up losing his spot because he's got to go to IR.
And that's fair, but I think there's a higher floor in having a veteran that's important for the overall just functionability of your offense. Like, that's the other part of Cam Ward's accuracy and Cam Ward's ability to throw downfield and for the explosive pass game to be a part of this offense in a consistent way again. Does Cam have the production he needs to take that step?
For this offensive, as far as this offensive line goes?
Right now on this offensive line.
Right now, it would have been incomplete. Dan still has questions. Can he hold up? Peter, of course, can he bring Dan along with him as far as the competitive side of it?
Dan Moore is much more of a known commodity than what they have at right guard right now.
No doubt about it. Or, I'll be honest with you, at right tackle, I got a lot of questions about J.C. Latham.
Very fair.
Like, going into this third year, which is supposed to be his in the first 3 years of this is his most professional year for him to show that he's an item is going to stick at tackle in this league to me. There is not a decision to be made on J.C. Latham, but a conversation of can you fluidly play right tackle to where we don't think about you on Sundays? And I think that's a fair place to be at. Heck, the same questions become similar to Dan at this point. Like, there's I want to be more hopeful for where JC is because he's in a more natural position for himself.
And year three.
You
talk a lot about the year 3 jump being really big for offensive linemen.
Which is, to me, why I think it's important to go ahead and somewhat solidify where this offensive line is going to be because of the cohesion, communication, and expectation of who's playing to the right or to the left of them. I know it's going to be an open competition come training camp. But I will say this, though. You will have a strong understanding of who you want to win by the time they break here in the spring after minicamp.
Cohesion is important, and I won't downplay that at all. But I think back to different sport, same conversation, what Kevin Durant said going into the Olympics against France. How's all that chemistry going to help you when you got to guard Steph?
Okay.
How's all that cohesion going to help you when you got to block DeForest Buckner?
True.
How's all that cohesion going to help when you got to block Trayvon Walker and the Jags front four and Daniil Hunter?
Understood.
I just think that this offensive line right now is the concern on this football team.
Yes.
Because I'm not sure it's better on paper right now than it was last year, and this offensive line struggled last year.
No doubt. In that part, I don't know, and we don't know in general. But what I would push is this. The size that they're bringing in, I think, amounts to a good bit of it. I don't think Cushenberry was as strong as he needed to be last year because of the Achilles.
I don't either.
I think Zeitler was more hurt than he led on as well. JC clearly had issues. Like the issues that the offensive line had was JC was out in some of those games too.
Some of them.
Some of them. And also dealing with, I'll talk about it in the offseason, but not during the season. He had the hip issue.
He did.
So I'll give him some grace.
I'm not sure
there.
he was ever 100%, but also who is 100% on offensive lines around the league?
But a hip issue for a big like him is most definitely problematic. Sure. That cohesion was never able to be gotten because of those popcorn injuries that kept happening as well. I'm still of the mindset with this one, and I'm probably brash because I believed in myself in these type of moments, so I need to remove myself from this. But I would say this. When it comes to a young guy like Fernando Carmona or Volson or anybody else that's in this conversation, Jackson Slater, those guys have to, and I absolutely mean this to they have to show that they got the fight and will and drive to make this happen. Like, I'm with you. What is cohesion? I would also say this as well. Where's pride in your job? Like, there's times in which you will get your face knocked off, and that happens on offensive line play. Heck, that happens at D tackle. But, like, there's an expectation that those dudes need to be pros. Like, once you put on those helmets and cross those white lines, there's a change. And, like, being a chump is not a part of it as well. Like, it's not. And that's where I'm believing in. I much rather the Titans, just based off of future growth of their team, to say, we brought you in, I trust in you, we're going to grow with you. And then the other part for me is this, the economics of it. You got 3 high-paid guys. You got to go find the value in Sloatman and Slater or Carmona.
And somebody.
Someone's
got to step up. I mean, it just comes down to that. Like, the way things are currently constructed right now, somebody's going to step up and take a hold of the right guard position. It is the vacant spot on this football team in terms of the starting lineup.
Is it going to be questionable and scary going into? Yes. But like, stars are born overnight. Starters are born each and every year. It's just that Cam wasn't perfect last year.
Well, of course not. No one's saying he is.
But like,
saying he was.
And I know the difference is you're protecting the guy that's protecting Cam.
It's that part of it.
Cam can somewhat protect himself, but a bad O-line to your play. But this falls on Brian Daboll's scheme, Cam's timing, the ability to keep balance and play calling, and also the same thing that he challenged the wide receivers. Can you just go beat your man?
Cam Ward saw the 4th most pressures in the NFL last year with 230 behind Justin Herbert, Drake May, and Jacoby Brissett. Against pressure this season, Cam Ward had a quarterback rating of 60.1. That was 7th worst in the NFL.
Dang.
Joe Flacco, Bo Nix, Geno Smith, Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes were all worse. So, we'll see. It's a major question mark. I'm not sure we're going to get answers on it until August, so strap in.
You sign a vet, though.
I would.
And I'm not opposed to it. It's just that if you are, get in camp right now.
It begs the question again, to your point, what's the goal of this football team and organization right now? Is it to protect Cam in the short term the best they can and stunt the growth of young offensive linemen who might not prove themselves until they get a chance to be on the field and prove themselves? Or is it just that? Throw somebody in the deep end of the pool and see if they can swim. You're putting your quarterback at risk if you do that and you get it wrong. You might help protect your quarterback long-term for the future better if you throw a guy in the deep end and all of a sudden they're doing the backstroke. 615-737-1045. There was a wild moment in an introductory press conference for an NHL general manager yesterday. I thought this was AI. Oh, it is very much real. You are not going to believe this. Coming up next. Coming up in 10 minutes here on Ramon and Will, we'll be joined by Apple TV's Kevin Egan, one of the biggest nights in Nashville SC history. Taking on Tigres in Monterrey tonight, 8:30 p.m. on FS1. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling with you. Speaking of other sports and niche sports, Toronto Sun's Steve Simmons gave an all-time press conference moment in the history of sports yesterday. I don't think this is hyperbole. John Shaka was introduced as the new general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and this is quite a controversial hire because he was suspended by Gary Bettman and NHL for breaching his obligation to the club when he was in charge of the then Arizona Coyotes for essentially pursuing other opportunities while under contract with the Coyotes and then terminating his contract with 3 years remaining on it. So that suspension is up, and the Maple Leafs have hired him, and this guy is a controversial figure, to say the least. So the Toronto Sun's Steve Simmons, with the first question of his introductory press conference, had this exchange yesterday.
Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun, for Keith. You talk about the due diligence that you did on John prior to hiring him and now hiring him. In the past, say 3 to 4 days, I have been in contact with about 20 people who work in the National Hockey League, many of whom are prominent names that we would all know. And of the 20 people I spoke to, one was supportive of John's hiring, and the other 19 thought it was a sham, to be perfectly honest. Words were used like con artist, liar, salesman. How did you come to a different conclusion that I was able to come to in a very short time?
I must have talked to different people.
Whoa! That's it? Because I'm telling you, the hockey world today is astounded by this announcement.
Okay.
And your response to that?
Is we've conducted due diligence, and it was deep due diligence. Wow. It was a thorough process, and I'm quite happy with where we've landed.
Wow. Toronto Sun's Steve Simmons at an introductory press conference. Mind you, the guy in question, the GM, John Shaka, is sitting right next to the person you hear answer the question, the president of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
No, man. Hold up. Are the Toronto Maple Leafs a serious organization?
No, because they are 2 seasons away from 60 years without a Stanley Cup.
No, dog.
Just missed the postseason for the first time in a decade. That was Keith Pelly, the president and CEO of MLSE, who owns the franchise.
Con artist, liar, salesman, leader of your franchise now is who he is. I don't even know what to say other than that's a hard question.
I've never heard anything like it.
No.
Truly have never heard anything like that.
That's a bad look.
None of the press push back on him. Hawk, come on, our resident hockey expert.
I really don't know what to say. This guy should have been out of the league long time ago and never come back into it.
It is a pretty crazy hire, to be fair.
It is.
Like, the guy does have a point.
Okay, I'm going to act like social media. Explain this hire to me in football terms.
Who? I mean, I can't think
Jimmy
of
Haslam.
No, that's not a good example. I can't think of, like, imagine if a GM got fired and suspended by Roger Goodell and then was hired 5 years later after spending none of those 5 years back in the league. And then all of a sudden was hired by the Cowboys, like the biggest brand in the league.
Oh.
Yeah, that's essentially what's happening.
Okay. Yeah, that's terrible. So he's been
I can't think of any GM that's been like resigned in disgrace and been suspended in the NFL recently.
Not like that. This is almost, well, no.
Like the Braves had John Coppolella, who cheated on some like international signings and got banned from baseball.
Yeah.
And to be like somebody hiring him as GM like 5 years later.
That's some nasty work right there, hearing how this, shout out to that reporter. Nobody pushed back.
That's crazy.
Nobody.
I mean, what are you going to say, right? Like it's not anyone else's place to like in the moment. Like grab the mic and like, here's my, like, I don't know. Like
at that point though, like
they might have pushed back in the room.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like ownership could have like really went off. Like, you don't tell us how to do our job. You shut up and you're going to watch these games regardless. Like there was none of that. There was no hate.
Yeah.
I guess Canadians really are nice.
Somebody said it'd be like Urban Meyer being back in the NFL. Nah, not really, because Urban Meyer never had any success. Like John Shaka, like the Coyotes were fine.
But the scandal.
There we go. There's a good example. John Gruden being hired again as head coach in the NFL after spending after what happened this past time. That's probably the best example.
Yeah.
John Gruden being hired in like 3 more years. Where people look around like, really? John Gruden? You couldn't find somebody else who was like in the league who's better? God. That's a good example.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That is a bad look right there. Imagine how the players feel about this one now. It's like, we got this guy.
Crazy.
Well, the Maple Leafs, like he said, 60 years in the making of not winning a cup. I mean, they're the pristine, besides the Canadiens, they have to win, and now, because their fans will riot, essentially. And this is a really bad look for them.
Burn it down.
Yeah.
Apple TV's Kevin Egan joins us coming up next. What has to happen tonight for Nashville Soccer Club to get a positive result in Monterrey against Tigres? We'll talk about that next.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls. Good people, this is healthcare designed for your life, and I absolutely mean it. They're available to you 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Same-day appointments available to you or next day guaranteed as well. And here's the thing, too, fellas. I know this. We hate going to the doctor, and I try to push you guys all the time. Hey, head to the doctors. Well, guess what? The doctor will come to you, okay? To the working folks out there as well, if you can't make it to the doctor when you need to, this is what Medical House Calls is for. These are real doctors and physicians that are coming to see you and handle whatever you have going on with yourself. That could be a sickness, infections, injuries, in-home labs, testing, and so much more. For a flat fee, you can get an evaluation, full exam treatment plans, or prescriptions if you need them as well. You've been fighting a little cough or can't figure out what's going on? Well, have a doctor show up to your house. It's that simple. I tell you all the time, we worry about what happens on the outside of our body. Well, Medical House Calls is trying to provide a service to you where you figure out what's really going on with you. Simply head over to medicalhousecalls.com or call or text them at 615-838-2375.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long, drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows, so act now. Go to loanpronto.com, see how much you can get in about 60 seconds. That's Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com, 615-499-5780, online at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
9:02. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. NFL news this morning per Tom Pelissero. Veteran edge rusher Dante Fowler Jr. is signing with the Seattle Seahawks on a one-year deal worth up to $5 million. The number 3 overall pick back in 2015. Fowler has 58.5 career sacks, including 3 last season, and he'll now enter his 12th NFL season. In Vols news yesterday, Rick Barnes continues his strong work in the transfer portal as Wake Forest transfer guard Juke Harris committed to the Vols on Monday. Harris, the number 1 player in the portal, according to On3 Sports ranking, averaged 21 points per game last season. Coming up tonight, Nashville Soccer Club returns to the pitch to face Tigres in the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinals. Nashville's down 1-0 on aggregate. They must win tonight, scoring at least 2 goals to advance to the final. Kickoff at 8:30 p.m. Central Time on FS1. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth and final hour of the show, getting started on this Tuesday morning edition of Ramon and Will. He is the 11-year NFL veteran, Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling, pleased to be joined by Apple TV's Kevin Egan this morning as we talk a little bit of Nashville SC. 8:30 tonight, the Boys in Gold in Monterey to take on Tigres. Kevin, good morning. How are you?
Well, I'm buzzing with excitement for tonight. I'm really hoping that you boys, can pull it off again like you did at Azteca.
Absolutely. Feeling the same way here. I know many of our listeners are as well. What has to happen, Kevin? What's the main goal tonight for NSC to get a positive result against Tigres?
I think avoiding, basically the atmosphere is going to be phenomenal. The altitude is going to be really difficult to play in Monterey for this team. It's not actually as bad as Toluca, where LAFC are playing. But I also think that avoiding the press of Tigres is going to be very, very important for this team. They're going to try and hit you hard. They've not rested their team. I was surprised to see that over the weekend. Another really good result for them. Rolling out the key players like Brunetta and Correa in that game. And while Nashville had a chance to rest Christian Espinoza, Hani Mukhtar, Andy Nahar a little bit more than Tigres did. So avoiding that press, making sure that they get Hani on the break. It's such a shame that Sam Surich and Eddie Tagset are unavailable for this one due to injury. But I honestly think Nashville will look at the first leg and be really disappointed with the way they played. Be really disappointed with the fact that they just couldn't really trouble Tigres. And go there tonight with a point to prove.
Apple TV's Kevin Egan, our guest, talking Nashville SC. It is interesting the way this run has gone, Kevin, because as you know, Nashville has taken some pretty big scalps in this competition, but they've done so without scoring a goal at home since the opening round against Ottawa. And looking back at that first leg against Tigres, what do you think BJ Callahan will take away as the lesson from that first leg? And what adjustments could you see Nashville making against the way Tigres set up against them going from that first leg to the second leg?
I found, and I'm sure you were the same as me, Will, watching that game, I found myself getting a little bit frustrated because everything felt a little bit too slow from Nashville's perspective. And we're not used to seeing that, especially at Jodas Park, where the fans are incredible, one of the best venues in all of MLS. And the football that Nashville usually plays is really, really kind of attractive and high octane at times. And I found that Tigres just set up these traps and tactically were very disciplined in the way that they defended Nashville from Nashville trying to build out. And it became a little bit too predictable. And with that, Nashville never created any gilt-edge opportunity in that game, one that you'd look at and say, right, they've got to score. And it all too comfortable for Tigres. So I think a little bit more unpredictability. I'm curious to see the starting 11, quite honestly. I feel that, obviously, Tagset being out, I would think that Matthew Corcoran steps in. Further forward, what does it look like? Ahmed Kassem has looked good lately. And, Warren Madrigal is a real spark plug. And obviously, I think Christian Espinoza has to start. So what's it going to look like around Hani, and how unpredictable can this team be? Tigres are very, very good, guys. For anyone listening in their car right now on the way to work and unaware of what this team Tigres has to offer, they're very good. They've already eliminated Seattle from the tournament. They scored 5 goals past Cincinnati earlier on in the tournament as well. But aside that, Seattle beat at home, and they looked really good against Tigres. It's just not an easy game tonight, but if Nashville get it right tactically and Hani Mukhtar can provide that spark and counterattack, like no one is better for me in Major League Soccer than Hani Mukhtar, maybe bar Denny Bouanga in counterattacking situations. And it's going to be about Espinoza and Mukhtar tonight being clinical.
We're joined by Apple TV's Kevin Egan this morning. With that continual conversation right there, Kevin, man, how does Nashville SC stack up with the best teams in the league so far this season?
They're right up there. I mean, for me, there's no question about it. Nashville, the best team in the East. And then when you look out west right now, San Jose have been excellent, but I still see Nashville as a better team. The two teams that I would say would absolutely challenge Nashville right now to be the very best are LAFC and Vancouver. But Nashville, I'm just so impressed by everything, Mike Jacobs has done behind the scenes. BJ Callahan is a tremendous person. I had a chance to work with him briefly at TNT for the Club World Cup last year. And I was just I was drawn to him by his warmth for the game and his love for the game and his love for his players and the way he speaks about Nashville and the entire club. You can tell there's a wonderful culture there. So I'm kind of all in on Nashville right now. I just feel with the way they're playing, he's getting the very best out of these guys. The recruitment's been excellent. I mentioned Warren Madrigal. How about Maxwell Valencia at the back? His passing out of the back, Schwacke in goal. It doesn't matter who's brought in. It feels that BJ Callahan can get them to another level. Coaching up is something that I always try and look for with coaches. We saw it over the years with the high-profile examples obviously being, I think, Jurgen Klopp and what he did with Salah and Mane and Firmino. And now I think with BJ Callahan, you can clearly see that he's bringing these guys to another level.
Man, Kevin, I've been asking Will this question for a little bit because MLS is, turned into a bigger, more eyes on it. I know a lot of MLS teams now have their own stadiums and just the culture of it in America is growing so much more. And the question I have for you is, how have MLS teams been able to close that gap so much on legal MX teams in this competition as it continues to grow and expose itself to the world?
I just think the teams are getting better in MLS. I started broadcasting the league in 2012, and I think the overall quality on the eye and the eye test is so much better today than it was back then, and the quality has been raised. And now it's basically we're at a stage where we're pushing owners. The very top teams and the most ambitious teams are pushing the owners that have not been as ambitious over the years to up their game a little bit and make sure you keep up with the chasing pack. And I think when you look at some of the best teams, obviously Miami on their day are excellent. I mentioned LAFC are two very, very ambitious clubs. Nashville, the way you're building the roster with Jodas Park and everything about the club right now, I just love to see it. And I think also it's a beautiful mix of this. This is one of those questions we could speak for an hour on because there's so many different layers to it. But I think there's a lovely mix now of the young homegrown star, and I've looked at whether it's Red Bull New York this year, whether it's Real Salt Lake, which has never been a hotbed for producing talent out in Salt Lake City, and they're churning out young stars now. And then there's the mix of bringing in the homegrowns, the South American youngsters that are entering their prime, but then also the European superstar that may be coming toward the last chapter in their career, and there's still a lot of room for those players. Obviously, Messi's the prime example. Antoine Griezmann, Son Heung-min, the list goes on. And when you think about, this is just one interesting thing I was thinking about recently, that when you look at Instagram followers, and this is not what we should be focused on totally, but it does draw the eye when you bring in the superstar. Like Major League Soccer has 3 of the top 5 most followed athletes playing in North America today. And there's none from Major League Baseball. There's none from the NFL. There's none from hockey. It's basically Lionel Messi, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Luis Suarez, James Rodriguez, and then obviously Son Heung-min, Thomas Muller, Antoine Griezmann. They'd all be well up there amongst the very top most followed superstars in America. So I think it's pretty impressive because when you get those mix of the homegrowns, the South American stars and the European talent, that's a nice concoction to have.
No doubt.
Kevin Egan of Apple TV joining us this morning, previewing Nashville SC's big CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinal tonight. Kevin, when we get to the fall, and I know there's a World Cup, there's a big break, there's kind of another offseason, a mini one that's going to happen until we get to that point. But when you look at the contenders in the Eastern Conference, it feels like teams are just trading places right behind Nashville right now in that second spot in the East. Who do you think is going to be there as the biggest competition for NSC in the East when things are all said and done this year?
Miami. And I hate to sound obvious, but when Lionel Messi needs to turn it on at a certain stage of the season, he tends to do it. And they didn't do it the first full year of Messi when Atlanta United stunned everybody, you know, in the biggest shock in MLS history, bar none. But they'll have it figured out. And here's the thing. They'll have a transfer window. They may bring in Casemiro for Manchester United. That's the heavy link right now. And they'll have a new coach, because I don't think that Guillermo Hoyos is the answer. So I would think that Miami might get their house in order before the playoffs. But I also think that BJ Callahan's old pal, Greg Berhalter, is doing a great job in Chicago. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the Chicago Fire inside the top four. In Hugo Kuipers, I think they have a striker that they've basically cooled on their interest of Robert Lewandowski because of Kuipers' production, and he's in his prime. And they've got a really nice attack. They've solidified their defense, a great young goalkeeper in Chris Brady. So I think Chicago, Nashville, that would be an absolutely brilliant playoff series. Two really exciting teams and two coaches. In the same way we see Mikel Arteta and Pep Guardiola going at each other in the Premier League with Man City and Arsenal, BJ Callahan and Greg Berhalter have been there together. You know, and BJ's learned a lot from Greg, and what a joy it would be to see those two go up against each other.
Two guys that have played a lot of pickleball against each other. I can tell you that for sure. Having spent some, yes, that is a big point of competition with BJ Callahan and Greg Berhalter. They are strong. Next time you talk to either one of them, ask them about their tournaments they play every offseason against each other. Yeah.
I love it. As someone who's recently become obsessed with pickleball, yeah, I'm that guy, by the way. I like to hear that.
Absolutely. Just kind of looking ahead a little bit, Kevin, to this weekend. We'll have the game here on our station. I'll have the call for Nashville and D.C. Last May, D.C. was able to come here and get a point and grind out a defensive kind of park the bus, counter-attacking style 0-0 draw. Not the same kind of DC team, though, this year with the way they've been able to put points up on the board. But that also has kind of been the question, right, with Nashville. And can you break down a team trying to just sit and get a point? What kind of stands out to you about this version of that matchup that we'll see here this weekend?
You know, I can't figure this DC team out.
Right.
And every week, I think I have them figured out. And every week, you know, they went 4 games without scoring recently and looked like they couldn't get near the net. And now they're after scoring 8 goals in their last 4 games. And this is without Ty Baribo, their best goal scorer. Like their last couple of games, Baribo's been out and they've won both games 2-0. So I can't quite figure this team out. They're hot and cold. I would think that Nashville just have to try and punch them early and go after this team and rock them a little bit, because when they've been rocked, they tend to crumble. But in Luis Mutianu, a new mega signing, an 8-figure signing for DC, he scored a couple of goals at the weekend. I really like Jackson Hopkins as a young talent in MLS. And then they've got really hard workers, you know, all over the field, from Kyrell's at the back through the midfield of Matti Peltola. Like, they're hard-working players that aren't giving up right now under René Weiler, their new head coach. So I'm intrigued by DC to a certain extent, but I still think Nashville are far superior. It's just a matter of how tired and emotionally fatigued this team is. If you can get a win at Tigres and rock back into MLS knowing you're headed to a CONCACAF Champions Cup final, man, I don't think there'd be any tired legs. I think these players would be just excited to get back out on the field.
All right, Kevin, on the way out, you mentioned Arsenal City and Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta. I have my Bukayo Saka jersey on today because it is a very big day with the Champions League semifinal. Should I feel comfortable about my Gunners getting it over the line now that City dropped points? Okay, yeah, because I don't feel comfortable at all.
Well, you know better to ask that question. As an Arsenal fan, you can never feel comfortable.
That's true.
And I feel for Arsenal fans, because your stress levels right now, none of you should go for a checkup at the doctors at any time soon.
That's exactly right.
The doctor's just going to flag some blood pressure issues. You're all stressed. I understand why. And here's the crazy psychological thing about what happened yesterday. Manchester City drew 3-3 yesterday. They got an equaliser in the 97th minute. And that's 2 points dropped for City. So now, all of a sudden, the pendulum swings from advantage Man City. Now it's advantage Arsenal. And I actually see that as a disadvantage for Arsenal.
I'm with you.
Because this team just looks so mentally weak right now in these massive games. Obviously, today will be really important to see if this team can get a win against Atletico Madrid and qualify for a Champions League final. What a lift that's going to give this team ahead of the final few weeks. But the games are relatively straightforward to a certain, like, you have to be able to beat West Ham, Burnley, and I believe it's West Ham, Burnley, and
Palace away.
Crystal Palace. Yeah, Palace away is tough.
It is.
And West Ham won't be easy because they're scrapping for their lives right now in terms of staying in the Premier League. So it's not easy. But if you're Arsenal, those are 3 games. You'd bite your hand off at the beginning of the season to say you win those 3 games, you win the league. But I feel for Arsenal fans. I feel for your blood pressure, Will.
It brings me so much joy, the fact that soccer has grown in Nashville to the level where not only we could have someone on to talk about Nashville SC, but I can just throw in one Arsenal question. Just the smile on my face, Kevin, even through the stress, I'm beaming with joy.
Love it.
Kevin, that's what I was going to tell you. We'll ask that question as a personal one, but there are people that will tweet us after this call and say, hey, I'm so glad you guys are talking
yes,
soccer.
100%.
You
every
have
time.
you have to be proud.
The other time we've had you on, every time we talk soccer, you would not believe the comments we get, Kevin, of thank you for talking NSC and thank you for talking soccer. It's been awesome to see.
I love that. And it's great to see the growth of the game in Nashville. You know, I'm great friends with Big Sheamus from WWE.
Yeah.
Who obviously spends a lot of his time in Nashville. He's a big NSC fan, and we speak about the joy of the game in Nashville all the time. So, yeah, let's go get a win tonight, and hopefully we'll be cheering on Nashville in the CONCACAF Champions Cup final.
I love it. Kevin Egan, our guest, MLS 360. These guys absolutely crush it on Apple TV every weekend with whip around coverage of every game. Thank you for the time as always, Kevin. Really great to catch up with you.
Guys, love chatting with you. Appreciate it so much, and we'll chat soon. All the best tonight.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. All right. There's Kevin Egan with us here this morning, talking a little bit of Nashville SC, one of the best of the best. Talk about our sport here in the U.S.
It just sounds so much different at the end of the call. He's like, let's go get a win. Like, I feel like it's much more convincing. Like in football, it's like, let's go get a dub. And it's like, are we going to go get a dub today? When Kevin said it right there, I was just like, yeah. You're daggone right, we finna go get a win.
8:30 tonight, NSC and Tigres. All right, when we come back, more headlines, 615-737-1045. If you want to jump in on the phone, there is an update on L'Jarius Sneed and his legal predicament that we've got for you coming up next.
It's Ramon and Will Bowling here, man. Talking to you good people about Window Nation. I saw a commercial on television yesterday, Wills. We go a little international right there, man. But I'm here to tell you this. As they spread their wings, we're going to spread this conversation with you as well. Because May weather is pretty nice, but those hot summer days will soon be here, and we know it. What comes with that is high utility bills from your AC running constantly. Will, don't wait until the heat hits to try to avoid new energy costs, man. It's not okay.
No, it's not okay, Ramon. You got to go ahead and take care of this now before weather gets back up in the 90s. And the pros at Window Nation can help get you new energy-efficient windows at a great price. Take advantage of Window Nation's Buy 4 Windows, Get 4 free sale going on now. You can replace all the windows in your home and get half of them free. That's right. Buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Online at windownation.com. Window Nation's installation crews finish the job in 1 day or less, so you can enjoy the rest of the summer with minimal disruption as well. Check them out online at windownation.com. Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045, our number. An update on L'Jarius Sneed this morning, Ramon.
How is that going for him? Legal situations was the alleged shooting situation I think he had in Texas. Is this stemming from that?
It is.
Tough.
Adam Schefter with the latest. Dallas-based criminal defense attorney Michael J. Todd announced that all criminal charges against his client, L'Jarius Sneed, have been dismissed. Sneed originally was charged with aggravated assault that was reduced by the grand jury to the misdemeanor offense of failure to report the commission of a felony. The state of Texas dismissed the misdemeanor completely on Friday, which Todd said leaves Sneed without conviction or admission of any kind. He is, of course, a free agent.
I know he about to celebrate Cinco de Mayo big time in Texas on a day like today. Fascinating how he got to this point, man. Good, I guess, on having a great lawyer, whoever took the rap for this, because the shooting, what happened, is just that it's not on L'Jarius Sneed the way I understand it, or the fact that there wasn't enough evidence to really claim that.
Yeah, civil suit that he was involved in on not reporting a felony where shots were allegedly fired from a vehicle he was driving was the original allegation there. A civil lawsuit alleged he was in a Lamborghini from which shots were fired at another vehicle. Yeah. So,
good on him.
Before the dismissal, the charge carried a potential penalty of 1 year in county jail and or a fine of up to $4,000. So all dismissed, all done.
Little misdemeanor.
Yeah.
I mean, and here's the other part, though, too. If we could lighten the situation. You're in Texas with guns. That is like walking and chewing gum at the same time. Like that's as natural of a relationship if I've ever heard of one. Now, it's serious, of course, openly shooting in public. Nobody should be doing that. Speaking of which, Nashville, clean it up. What we doing downtown? With that being said, he got lucky. I'm glad nobody got injured, and whatever the situation is, hopefully he and his camp and whoever else was involved with them or against him move forward in this, because this is a sticky situation no player should be a part of. Make too much bread to be in these type of situations. Unless you're being harmed, and imminent danger is what I mean by those. Like, protect yourself, yes. I'm a Amendment 2 guy, absolutely. But when it comes down to just being foolish with it, or you feel like you got to carry it at all times because you feel like you're at threat, or you got to go prove something, or you can't leave people behind that like to carry like that, be smarter, fellas. There's too much bread out here for y'all to be losing in these situations. I go for regular folks as well, too. You ain't even got to have bread. Be smart with your weapons is what I would advise anybody.
You could just have the yeast. Don't have to have the bread yet. Tennessee football has announced game designations for 2026.
No, go back. You can just have the yeast. I was just like, the bread and yeast. We gonna have a conversation after the show.
We can have it on air. Tennessee football has announced game designations for 2026. Arch Manning will play on Checker Neyland Day in the 2026 season. Tennessee will checker Neyland on September 26th against Texas.
It's gonna be a wild game.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be nice. And you know what I will say? Good. We gonna need all of that again in that game. Texas good.
Very big month of September for Tennessee, who usually has a big game. And you kind of learn where you stand when you play Florida, is the way things have been in the past. Well, Tennessee doesn't play Florida this year.
They do not.
And that's going to take some getting used to. Instead, they played Georgia Tech and Texas. Yeah. September 12th against Georgia Tech, September 26th against Texas. Obviously, you play in Bobby Dodd against Tech. And we'll see who the quarterback is. See who the quarterback is for the first game and the second game, because you kind of have an early checkpoint in the quarterback battle that if whoever you put in there doesn't succeed or play well against Georgia Tech, how big of an opportunity do you give the other guy against Kennesaw State on September the 19th for the Salute to Service game, which was also just announced, to get ready for Texas? I'm going to be interested, Ramon, with the Tennessee quarterback battle in how settled it is for the long term. When you go with a guy, how long is Josh Heupel willing to stick with that guy if things get tough?
That's where I'm at. I'm hoping Coach Heupel makes a decision and stick with it. I know he's a very player-friendly coach. I know as a competitor, he understands what he's putting these players in as far as the competition, but don't play the seesaw game. Like, go with your guy and stick with your guy as well. Look at this, because, again, with both of them being young, you have to commit to the cause. Now, don't be foolish about it, but the yin and yang of who starts this game and we're going to figure out what's next, no, declare this one. I think these two guys would appreciate it professionally because they're at this point of which they're receiving funds behind it. Mm-hmm. But I do look at it and say, the sooner they get to a decision and stick with it, and he know his leadership is going to lead those guys, the better it's going to be on the Vols this fall.
Yep.
They're young, so what? Everybody has to deal with this in some capacity.
Huge piece at ESPN.com this morning from Adam Rittenberg talking about who won the college football offseason. And within this, they rank every team's offseason in college football in every Power 4 conference with who had the best offseason in each conference. Where would you expect Tennessee to land here?
Offseason wise, I would go as far as the SEC goes. I was about to scroll down the article. As far as the SEC goes, I think the Vols are probably like 6 or 7.
Number 8.
8, okay. I
think that's about right.
Middle of the road.
Key additions being edge Chaz Coleman, corner Kayan Lee, and D-tackle Xavier Gillum. I'd throw the Michigan safety Metcalf in there, too, before I probably would Coleman, to be honest with you. Key departures, Colton Hood, Chris Brazzell, Jermon McCoy. Top incoming recruits, Tristan Keys, Faison Brandon, and Jordan Carter.
See, now I'm starting to question the article.
Yeah, I would put Joey Aguilar ahead of Jermon McCoy. He was kind of a key departure last year.
Exactly.
Is what it ended up being.
Like, all right, you had me at first, and now I'm like, Jamad, like, he wasn't even in the equation last year. I would almost look at Ricky Gibson's situation as a guy that could have returned this year as opposed to that one. It makes no sense to me.
Speaking of Checker Nealon against Texas, Adam Rittenberg at ESPN.com have Texas as having the best offseason in the SEC.
Y'all get ready.
It's hard to really argue with that, considering the additions of Cam Coleman and Hollywood Smothers, the fact that they feel like they've got legitimate receiving threats and weapons to help Arch Manning this year, and the fact that Arch Manning finished the season pretty dang good.
Yeah, he did.
Pretty dang good. Emmett Mosley, Ryan Wingo, Cam Coleman at receiver, Raleek Brown, Hollywood Smothers at running back. They bring in a couple of offensive linemen. Their key departure is Anthony Hill Jr.
Yes, it is.
Now a Titan. Yeah. Different looking defense with Will Muschamp in charge.
Who knows how to call it. Going to be super aggressive.
Sure does.
For all the anti-Longhorns fans out there, y'all get used to it. They're about to have a year, I think, because last year I think we overstated them and thought they were going to jump out. This year with Arch having a better base, they're going to be good.
It honestly turned out, I think we were early. I think a lot of the praise we had for Texas this time last year is now actually true.
It's real.
And maybe I'll get got again because at the end of the day, it's Texas and they've gotten to the mountaintop, but not to the top of it. They've gotten on the mountain, but not all the way.
Yeah.
But also that takes time. And there are a great number of programs that are in the same spot. I mean, how long did Ryan Day knock on the door before he could finally open it?
Very true.
How long did Jim Harbaugh knock on the door before he could finally open it? Kurt Signetti just sprinted up the mountain.
He did.
But it is normal to be on the doorstep before you can finally walk in. And it has the feelings of that year culminating in everything coming together for Texas this season.
You know what, too, on this list, there's a question mark of how, and I'm wondering where this guy's mountaintop is right now. Has it eroded because of wind?
Okay.
It's Kirby Smart in Georgia. They got him 4th on this list right now, and I'm thinking of a world in which the SEC is dominated still, I think, by good defenses. How is Kirby 4 behind Ole Miss, LSU, and Texas? And I'm wondering what that's doing for him as far as motivation. What has he changed with this group? O-line has been an issue for them a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't say an issue.
They're growing up.
It's been an issue as far as Georgia standards go.
Yeah, Georgia standards, yeah.
It's not been an issue in terms of most team standards.
I think when he's talking about that statement we played last Friday about, not being able to harbor talent, That's the effect of it right there for Georgia.
At the defensive back position, at the linebacker position, and at offensive line.
O-line.
They've not kept the same 4- and 5-star depth of blue chip guys just waiting their turn that they used to when he was at Alabama and when he was at Georgia.
No doubt. That's where they're suffering from, and they're still good.
I agree. Interesting on Georgia, too. They signed the fewest transfers of any SEC program. They also lost the fewest, really, on defense. They lost one starter to the transfer portal. That was Jonel Aguero, who was far from their best player on defense last year.
Yeah.
And the guy they brought in to replace him is Khalil Barnes, who brings over like 3 years of starting experience from Clemson. So again, like you just kind of plug and play in that context. But they're a really interesting team too, because they are one of the contenders that brings back their quarterback.
Yeah.
And last season, a lot of the teams that ended up being contenders when it was all said and done had first-year starting quarterbacks. Well, now all those teams have those quarterbacks back. And that has to do with Arch Manning. That obviously pertains to Georgia with Gunnar Stockton, Julian Sayin at Ohio State, Trinidad Chambliss at Ole Miss, Marcel Reed at Texas A&M, John Mateer at Oklahoma. So it feels like there are more teams who you feel more comfortable in this season who have returners at quarterback. That's funny, though, that I feel that way, because I could have said the same thing last year with Drew Aller at Penn State, Cade Klubnik at Clemson, and Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. All of those teams wilted.
Yeah.
When it was their turn in the spotlight.
Speaking of wilted, can I go on a hater podium just for a little bit?
Yeah, you want to talk about Lane Kiffin?
You knew where I was headed.
I knew exactly where you were going.
Exactly. Imagine this. The only reason I bring it up is because I speak of the offseason, and you mentioned Trinidad Chambliss as well, getting that year, and seems to be a dude. Like, he seems to be a competitor that Ole Miss needs. Imagine leaving Ole Miss with all the resources they had given you, and I'm not by any means standing on a podium for Ole Miss, but I do hope when given the opportunity that Ole Miss makes them eat it. Now, Lane's got a strong team. He's got more 5-stars and high-caliber transfers. I think he knows what to do with. Now, questions of his quarterback? All right, yeah, Sam Levitt. I know Trinidad Chambliss had some statements yesterday about how Lane tried to get him to go to LSU as well. Ole Miss, my point is this, gave him everything that he needed. On top of that, they're still sustaining after he left. Now, there's no year, and of course, their coach is in a position where he's got to go prove himself as well, Pete Golden. But Lane, you had it in Oxford.
Well, did you see what he was doing last week?
Corny stuff. Go ahead.
Death Valley.
What was he doing?
Posing for Vanity Fair in Tiger Stadium. What are
we doing? Do more of it. Get unfocused from be not focused on football. Do more of it. I hope GQ comes and takes pictures of it. I hope
Let's get Men's Health in there while
Men's Health while we at it, man. Like everything. I hope the pickleball championship with all the girls he posts pictures with at the course, I hope they come and take pictures with them too. I say this because Lane is the issue for me when it comes down to the transfer portal. He is culprit number one. He is, to me, the number one public enemy when it comes to people complaining about the transfer portal. If he's okay with doing it, no, but he's also portaling himself out of it.
No, I'm just riling you up.
This wasn't even the topic we were supposed to have today.
It wasn't.
But I hope Ole Miss gives him all that he wants right here.
So the funny thing is, and I've seen a couple LSU people kind of side-eyeing it on Twitter. So if you missed it, on April 30th, LSU football posted a picture of Lane Kiffin in a white T-shirt and jeans sitting in the 100 level at Tiger Stadium. And it says, coming later in May, at Vanity Fair, at Lane_Kiffin. And it's him posing for a magazine cover. All the cute stuff, all the funny stuff flies at Ole Miss. Because at Ole Miss, football is more of a social event than it is football.
Yeah.
Argue with a wall. Somebody who is an Ole Miss fan is going to be upset with that.
It's a good
and I'm sure you're not the problem, right?
Yeah.
Because there are a ton of people that love Ole Miss football for the football. And I will not dispute that. There are a ton of Ole Miss fans who are great football fans.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think of when you think of Ole Miss football?
Grove.
Tailgating, Grove, Bloody Marys, mimosas, Katy Perry on game day.
Katy too?
You don't actually think of football. This is fun and funny for the Southern Living Society that Ole Miss is. And you know I'm right. You know I'm right on this. That's not going to fly at LSU.
Absolutely not.
Because at LSU, you're the ball coach. You're a football coach. You hold the hopes and dreams and happiness of an entire state in the palm of your hand with what you do on Saturdays. Not what you do before the game on Saturdays, not what you do after the game. And you know what? Lane Kiffin chose that because he clearly got a little ticked that when they played lowly Washington State on homecoming that nobody was there. Okay, you want the seats full? Well, those butts in those seats carry a different level of expectation and pressure, and they don't like it when you pose for Vanity Fair when you are winless as the head coach at LSU. And I know you're also undefeated, but these are crazy Cajun people, and they don't think the way most of the rest of us do. You're winless right now. You've not done a dang thing. So they've seen good portal classes go to Baton Rouge, and it mean nothing. Why is yours any different?
Right.
Just because you did it at Ole Miss? Okay, well, Brian Kelly did it at Notre Dame. What did that do for him? Like, I think Lane Kiffin will be a good coach at LSU. I don't think he'll ever win a national championship. I don't think he will ever win a national championship there. Until proven otherwise, he's the coach to get you good, sometimes great, never elite.
And funny.
I don't think he's mature enough to run an elite college football program. I really don't. And until proven otherwise, I thought he'd changed. I really did think he'd kind of grown up. All the antics he's shown over the last 6 months proved that, he's Lane Kiffin. He's not elite enough to have a championship.
He just dyed his hair a little bit.
Maybe I'll be wrong. LSU has as many resources as anybody in this sport. And this is not supposed to be a shot at LSU. I actually quite respect and like LSU football. It's kind of the other program in the SEC I feel like I have the most respect for that I like. I mean, I have respect for Bama and the other ones, they're just a rival. So my Vols hatred kind of creeps in. I have no ill will towards LSU whatsoever.
I'm with you on that one. Like,
but I do at Lane Kiffin.
I don't hate anything about it. I feel like LSU football.
We have the same rivals.
The respect factor to me is high with LSU. Like the
I
hate
love the
rivalry.
fans.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you.
They'll flip you off and then serve you gumbo at their tailgates.
There's a comment real quick. It says, I think Lane would be able to work less at LSU. The brand does the work for all the 5 stars and transfer.
No.
I don't know about that.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
You also better go get your honey badgers.
Ask Kalen DeBoer what the brand has done for him at Alabama.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Or also,
it's something, but like it's not everything.
The Brian Kelly component of it. Like you had a lot of high at LSU.
Indiana has no brand that they just won a national championship.
Like
brand means less than it ever has.
LSU, I don't think is allowed to recruit low. You got Louisiana. Let's just start there.
That's right. How do all those players come together and form a football team?
Yeah, facts. And it's on him with this amount of talent that he's been trying to drive to the SIP.
Absolutely it is.
In Lambos and Rolls Royces, he's picking them up from a regional airport. Now it's real.
They had a great offseason. They've put together a really good football team.
Now, Lane didn't get me with the banana in the tailpipe. Will tell you, I was anti-Lane the entire time. I kept telling people, no, he's not.
You and I have that in common. Yeah. I was at the Tennessee basketball game when I was a student during Shiano Sunday era, and Tennessee students chanted, "Bring back Kiffin." And that's as disappointed as I've ever been in the Tennessee fan base. Coming up, we're wrapping up the show. Ramon Will, 104.5 The Zone.
I'm moving today, baby.
It's Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone.
Come on, Pitbull.
Mr. Worldwide, taking you into the final segment. I have no words.
Love, you just move. That's the thing about it. You don't sing.
Bailar. To dance. So, Kentucky is going to be homecoming for Tennessee football this year, Ramon.
So disrespectful. Wow.
There's one less out-of-conference game, so.
It is. Yeah, that's true. There is that side of it as well.
Pick your weakest SEC home game. That's homecoming.
I say that. Mississippi State, I think, had us as homecoming last year. In the game that we played down there.
And they don't
ruin that.
They don't have many other options either.
What's wrong with you? I saw it on the schedule. I said, well, homecoming for Kentucky? What in the world, man? You usually don't do that at the interconference. But
I have to now.
When you're bad or if you don't have any other small opponents to play, you do it.
The New York Knicks made the Philadelphia 76ers look like a homecoming game last night.
Terrible.
137-98. I respect Timothy Chalamet even more. I love him. I want to be friends with him for choosing Game 1 Knicks Sixers over going to the Met Gala.
Oh, he did.
The Met Gala is the one thing in pop culture I will never understand nor have any need for. I don't care. Why should I care?
Costume party. That's all it is. It's just a cold-blooded costume party.
Why not Halloween? Is that not a big costume party?
No. This is what the rich people
Spring
do.
Halloween?
Yeah, we do broke people Halloween in October. Okay. They do rich people Halloween in May. You got to get with it, Will. We're not invited, clearly, is what I'm telling
why
you.
would I be invited? I don't need to be.
Invited. Listen, I'm not about to go dress up for people to snap pictures for no reason.
137-98. Knicks get the win over the Sixers. The Knicks became the first team in NBA history to win 3 straight postseason games by at least 25 points after they beat Atlanta by 718 in Game 6 of the first round. Not really. They beat them by, I think it was 59 or 49.
Yeah.
I don't know. They shot 63% from the field and won that one by 40. After trailing 2-1 against Atlanta, the Knicks have won 4 straight games by a total of 135 points. They are the first team since detailed play-by-play began in 1996-97 to lead 3 straight playoff games by at least 30 points, according to Sports Radar.
Listen, nothing you can do when an NBA team is shooting over 50% from the three-point line.
It's kind of funny that half of the Knicks, too, are just Villanova guys, and now they're playing Philly. Yeah. Not lost on me. Timberwolves 104, Spurs 102. The other one to beat Victor Wembanyama.
12 blocks.
Yeah, I know. I've heard your updates. Who had 12 blocks.
You hear how many he have?
12.
When did you tell us that?
12.
Every hour.
What an alien, man. He's fun
thanks for
to
listening.
watch.
You're welcome.
I did, but Ant-Man got him last night.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
Yeah, he is.
Wembanyama.
Wemby, no
absolutely
doubt.
ridiculous. Back at it tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6 a.m. Rep Brian will be with us, of course, breaking down Titans, a little bit of NFL stuff. Who's to say? Tomorrow morning, 6 to 10. We'll talk to you then.
Oh, man, Wemby had a triple-double.
Sure did.
12 blocks.
11,
How many
15
blocks?
Rebounds. You said 12 or 21?
I think it was 12. Yeah.
It was 11 plus 1?
Mary Kay Cabot reported that.
10 plus 2. That's Justin's report. Make sure you credit Justin.
Sorry, I reported that, not Mary Kay.
But remember at all times, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot, baby.